3, 2. What the fuck were you saying, Joey Diaz?
I said that once you're clean for 29 days without smoking reefer, that's it. Why go back?
What?
Yeah.
I like it.
No. If I fucking stayed clean from reefer for 29 days, I'd let my lungs fucking heal from the abuse I've inflicted on them the last 30 fucking
What
years.
about edibles? What about spray?
First of all,
the Jumbo spray?
First of all, I haven't had an edible since, I broke it in Boston September 29th. So out of respect for Sober October, I didn't do an edible. I haven't done edibles. Something was wrong with my stomach. So I figured out I was lactose intolerant.
Lactose intolerant.
Lactose intolerant. I fucking eat mozzarella cheese or milk, and I'm farting up. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I had to cut that out of my diet. No mozzarella cheese. Light on the American cheese now. No Swiss, no more. No Cuban sandwiches.
Really?
It's fucking crazy. And then I had to cut out. The edibles would give me a weird feeling.
What?
It had just gone. It had just gone somewhere else, and I didn't like the hunger issues.
Oh, the munchies.
The hunger issues after 11 o'clock were just monstrous. Like, here I am working hard to lose weight. I'd stick to it, and then I go home. I start with an apple, another apple, a banana, another banana. Then you got to bust out the salami sandwich with the fucking it was just getting bad. I could not control it. Uncontrollable. The hunger from edibles every minute after 11 o'clock for me was uncontrollable.
Well, you get blitzkrieg. You don't just get a little fucked up.
No, and it starts early. It was starting early, 2 in the afternoon, then pop another 2 at fucking 6.
Do you like vaporizing?
No.
No, just smoking.
If
you're worried about your lungs,
I take vapors at a hotel.
Like a vape
to get
pen?
the party started in the morning while I'm having coffee in my hotel room, writing my notes for the thoughts of the day. Mm-hmm. Because I don't wake up with hunger. See, that was my problem all those years. I would eat till 1. If you want to be a fat fuck, don't eat till 1 when you wake up, because then you got to make up for it the rest of the day. So now I have to force myself to eat.
What do you mean?
Because a lot of you guys like the intermittent fasting. I can't live with that.
What do you mean?
My shit goes up and down. My blood pressure, my blood sugar. So I could never intermittent fast. But in the old days, I'd be coked up. And I'd wake up speedy still.
Right.
So I wouldn't eat breakfast. But I'd start eating at 1 or 2 o'clock and would not stop till fucking 2 in the morning. You saw me.
Yeah.
I'd be eating those pink dot sandwiches like they were nothing. 2 meatball sandwiches at 12 o'clock. Because I wouldn't eat breakfast. I forced myself to eat, for years we was eating every 6 hours. You're supposed to eat a smaller portion, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's what people were thinking.
I gotta eat breakfast. And I could eat 2 egg yolks, a piece of wheat toast, and fruit, and I'm good. Like for Sober October, I gave up bacon. I only eat 2 pieces of bacon. It's 5 points on Weight Watchers. That's all I'm allowed. But at least I'm allowed 2 pieces of bacon.
2 pieces of bacon is all you really need.
That's all you
Anything
need.
more than 2 pieces of bacon,
Let me tell you
getting
something.
Greedy.
When I was 418, between you and I, my wife, who's from the South, would make the whole packet of Oscar Mayer center cut bacon, the whole pack, every morning. That was my breakfast.
You would eat the whole packet?
The whole package with 3 eggs, a half a loaf of Wonder Bread, and butter, and a 16-ounce Coke to boot.
A Coke on top of it?
Oh, yeah, I could drink 2 Cokes for breakfast. Oh. Remember, I grew up on the East Coast, and I caught a bad habit early on. After my mother died, I wouldn't eat at home. I would leave and eat at the deli. I went on remember when fucking cream cheese and jelly on a roll was big?
Oh, yeah.
You know what that does to your system? Cream cheese and jelly for breakfast. I used to open up with cream cheese and jelly on a poppy seed roll with a 16-ounce Coke for breakfast for years. And I was in shape. That's the thing. You can't live. Remember that? Nobody eats cream cheese and jelly for breakfast on a roll no more. Cream cheese and jelly.
No, because people know better now.
In Jersey, in those diners, they got those bran muffins. You go in there, you get those bran muffins. They put them on the grill with butter on them. Good googly moogly.
Those are good.
Oh my goodness! You just chop. Now I go to Yum Yum Donuts. I got a bran muffin with raisins in it, and it's got no butter or nothing. But they cut them in half on the East Coast. Those East Coast breakfasts were horrible.
Now, how long have you been doing this Weight Watchers thing now?
Since December 9th.
So almost a year.
Yeah, but
Closing in
I've
on a
been
year. 11 months now?
Yeah.
Ish?
11 months ish. 30
That's pretty
pounds,
good.
30 pounds.
That's nice.
And
That's a good weight over that amount of time because it's gradual.
And I didn't. And the only week I missed my fitness goals, I have to have 72 points of activity, and I only missed it one time. I had the flu.
What's a point of activity? What do you get?
So if I go to Muay Thai at 9, I only really, it's an hour class, but I only put 30 minutes down to Muay Thai training. If we do circuit training with a ball and ropes and shit, then I put whatever the amount. If it's 8 stations at 30 seconds a station.
Do you wear a heart rate monitor or anything? Or
No.
Apple Watch?
I don't want to hear. Listen, I don't want to hear. I don't want to see. You know what? When I had that fucking ear infection, I used to have to work out with earplugs on. And I'd get high and go throw sidekicks for Jesus. You don't know what life is.
So that when you had the ear infection, the earplugs kept your equilibrium in balance?
No, it would keep sweat from going in my ear.
Oh.
You don't know what life is when you're working out. You can hear your heartbeat. But yeah, boom, boom. But that's trippy shit.
You know, Everlast has a ticker. He's got an artificial valve, and he puts the microphone up to his chest. You hear...
No, I don't want to hear that shit. Like
Yeah,
60
it's
Minutes?
trippy.
Like the beginning of 60 Minutes?
Exactly.
Fuck you.
It's trippy, man. He's had it in there for, what did he say, like 18 years, I think? Yeah, he had a heart attack a long-ass time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
He had a
that's
bad
not-
valve.
Yeah, but if I was clean off weed for 29 days, I might as well go for it for at least a year.
Yeah, let's
and
round
then
back
make a
around to
come-
that.
and
Why?
then make
I
a
enjoy
comeback.
marijuana.
Just make a comeback, just to see what would it be like.
I'll tell you one thing that did happen last year when we did Sober October and I took a month off. When I started back again, I'd get nervous.
Yeah.
I'd get real nervous.
Yeah,
I'd get
yeah,
scared
yeah.
to do it, and I'd go on stage. I'd feel real strange.
Yeah, no. Somebody once told me, a great woman once told me that if you think getting high in life is weird, wait till you stop getting high. And it's a different fucking adventure. And she's true in a lot of aspects. I called you one October 2nd, one night. I got home from the Comedy Store. You know when you get home from the original room, dog. Especially when you go. It was one of those nights when I went in there and I was Rocky Balboa. I just touched gloves and I measured and I just started going to the body for 15 minutes. I remember driving up Laurel Canyon going, what am I going to do with myself? And I went home. It was like October 2nd. It was 11:30, and I started smoking reefer to calm down a little bit. And I went down. I started with Sign of the Times by Prince, and I just left it on autoplay, and it just took me into a Prince fucking cave. And I ended up on Beautiful Ones when he starts singing, Do you want him? And I called you up. I'm like, this is why I can't do Sober October.
Yeah.
Because I get so high at night to come down off stage. When you get off stage, you need something. And since I don't drink, I'm scared to come up that hill drinking. I have to smoke reefer to come down at night. And music. That's the only thing that calms me down at night.
Do you write at night after your sets?
I write about what happened. Yeah, I try to write how lucky I am that I'm still performing at the store at 55. I write about that I ate a bag of dicks, but I'll get them tomorrow night. You know, like whatever just is flowing through my head while I have music on. I'm drinking a water, and I'll go in the back and fucking toke a fucking 22 hits off a pipe. And I love listening to music at night. That's my hobby.
It's a thing to, like, when you get out of the store, it's a thing to sit yourself down and make yourself work and write, you know, because you're like, I'm done. I did it. Got a good set in. I'm good. But that's the best time to write, I think. Everything's popping.
Well, I'll go home and make corrections. Maybe I said that fuck too early, or maybe I said that and I shouldn't have said it. But, no, I won't try to write at night. I'm gone at night. Like to try, unless something's really
You're tired,
funny.
or
I think my brain is shot at night.
is it because you already did your stand up, you got ramped up?
Did the stand up, play with the fucking kid, you know, did a podcast, talk to people all day about shit that doesn't matter. By night, I like to get up. I play with Mercy. I talk to my wife. I'll do a protein shake. I'll drop Mercy off. I'll go home, and then I go to the coffee shop. And for 30 minutes, I'll call my peeps in Jersey, check in, and then I'll get eggs at the coffee shop, bacon. Once my breakfast is gone, I write my thought page down for the day. Then I take my iPad out, and I either write a chapter in the book, I try to write towards the book, And while I'm writing the
book. You writing a book right now?
I'm trying.
How long you been doing this?
22 fucking years, Joe Rogan. 22 fucking years, you know. But I forced myself, and with the iPad, you know, there's a whole writing thing, so I could just turn that chapter off and go to another document and click on to post Netflix material. And then I got a thing that we're working on for immigrant mentality, so I think about that, I'll go to that. So now that's all great. I think just doing that exercise every day is good for me. I don't need to write comedy every day. I'd rather just go down to the store, throw something out there, and fucking get excited. And like I told you, I'm not going anywhere else no more in Los Angeles. I'm going back to the store.
No improv spots?
Especially after I shot the Netflix special and everything. It all came to me after that 10 years, and especially after she died. You know how you ever go to like an acting class and people refer to Stanislavski and all this shit? 10 years from now, people are going to be referring to the Mitzi Shore technique. There was something that I was talking to Duncan about it, I talked to Ari about it. I know she said something to us at one point that we were like, wow, something. I remember I was telling this on my podcast that there was a time she didn't like you doing that in a Nicole bit in the main room.
Yeah, she hated it. She wouldn't let me do it
in the main room.
Yeah.
In the original. How fucking crazy is that? That's to show you her genius in a way. Like she was like, Joe, you could light yourself on fire in the original room. I don't give a fuck. But in the main room, you can't do that because you're killing my room. Like the comics afterward just could not follow it. Like they could just not follow it. That lesson right there.
It was a fucked up bit. The bit was about...
It was brilliant, but think about it.
There's no good versions of that bit anywhere. There's one version that I did that's up on you. It's terrible. It's a terrible version. There's no solid versions of that bit. But that bit was right when that guy died, J. Howard Marshall. He died, and it was all about him getting Anna Nicole Smith to do shit to him before he died. But
Father, she's trying to take your money. I don't give a fuck. I want to get my balls licked or something like that.
It was a crazy bit, but Mitzi didn't like it too because she didn't like bits that were making fun of old people because, you know, her health was deteriorating too. There was a couple of bits that she didn't like. There's a fucking picture of him. He's 1,000,000 years old, and she's hot as the sun, and she's sitting on his lap.
Look at him. Look at the smile on his face, dog.
Yeah, oh, man, I loved him. I loved that whole scene. I loved what it was. I loved it because it was so blatant. You know, it was just so blatant. But she didn't like that bit. She didn't like the Hugh Hefner bit either. She didn't like that bit. When Hugh Hefner told those, look at it, she's kissing him. Oh my Jesus Christ! Oh, he's in a wheelchair while she's marrying him. I mean, it was a damn classic. That scene of him and her getting married. She's so young and so hot, and he's so old and wrecked and rich as fuck in a wheelchair. It's such a classic scenario. It was so good.
You called her a Kentucky Fried Hooker.
Yes. I had him call her a Kentucky Fried Hooker. Right. Like if she wanted that money, she had to do it. But she had to keep doing shit.
And then he's going, Father. He's going, and he wakes up and it's like, it's time to lick my balls. It's time.
Oh, yeah, man. I just love the fact that guy was that wealthy and yet still. I mean, I guess when you're that wealthy,
what was he worth
old,
at that time?
More than $1 billion. Yeah, he was a billionaire. He was an oil magnate, right? Wasn't he? I don't think she got the money though. I think the kids fought her. 100 million. What? That's peanuts.
It got her, dog.
Anna Nicole Smith's daughter is now the 4th richest woman in the U.S. It's what? Oh, no, it says 37 billion though.
That's the Koch brothers.
Koch brothers. Oh, I see.
He was 69th on the list.
Oh, but 4th richest woman. Do you know out of the richest women in the world? Google the richest women in the world, like where they got their money from. It's rough. It's rough out there, guys. They ain't fucking starting businesses. They're marrying dummies.
Really?
Yes.
Is that how they got
It's
that
almost
rich?
all of it is divorce. Almost all of it's divorce money. Feminists do not want to hear this, but there was one woman who was the richest woman ever from a startup company. Elizabeth, what was her name? From Theranos.
Oh yeah, she really took it all.
What was her name? Elizabeth something? Not Smith. What was it? Something Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes. She ran a company called Theranos. She started it herself, dropped out of college to start this company, and it was a total fraud. It was all fraudulent. She's going to jail forever. She was worth $34 billion at one point. It was a blood testing company, and what it was they just take a prick of your blood. Instead of taking a bunch of your blood, or you getting your blood drawn, her thing was like, let's just be able to take a prick of the blood, just a little tiny prick, like you go to a store, get a prick of your blood, and they're going to be able to do a battery of tests on you and find out what's going on. Problem was it didn't fucking work, and they falsified all sorts of data, and they lied to investors and all sorts of shit. This lady, she used to dress like Steve Jobs. She wore a black turtleneck and everything, and I saw her speak once. Here it goes. Elizabeth Holmes indicted on fraud. Oh, they got you with the fucking pop-up ad. New York. There she is. She's going to jail. She's fucked.
Bro, I want.
But she was at one point in time the richest self-made person in the world, the richest self-made woman in the world. She was worth billions of dollars.
The shit people do. I watched a thing the other day on Crazy Eddie. Do you remember Crazy Eddie?
Yeah, Crazy Eddie. His prices are insane.
Did you know what Crazy Eddie did?
Well, tell everybody who Crazy Eddie was.
Crazy Eddie was a guy that had stores in all 5 boroughs of New York, wholesale outlets, for
TVs.
stereos, TVs, and everything like that. I was watching MSNBC, Greed. They have a series called
There he
Greed.
is. Let me hear this motherfucker. I forgot
TVs,
this guy.
VCR, stereo systems, telephones, telephone answering machines, anything and everything in home entertainment, and lots of home appliances too. Remember, we are not undersold, we will not be undersold, we cannot be undersold, and we mean it. Santa knows that the best deals in town are at Crazy Eddie's during Crazy Eddie's Christmas Blowout Blitz. See Crazy Eddie now, his prices are insane!
He's wearing a Santa Claus outfit. He's going fucking crazy with fake snow in the background.
He fucking, like, just this, like, he, like, hit it out of the park.
Didn't he go to Israel?
He went to Israel to hide, to
Yeah.
flee. But the most brilliant thing he did was he took it either, don't fucking, check fact me on this. He took either his nephew, his son-in-law, somebody that he was related to through blood, put him through college so he could get a job at the IRS so they could figure out how to rob from the IRS. This is how fucking insane this guy was. I'm watching this diet and how they got Crazy
Oh my
Eddie.
God.
Right, Crazy Eddie fled after he started just buying boxes. You know how remember years ago you'd be driving in New York and there was some guy selling stereo speakers.
Yeah.
And then you'd take them home and there was 2 bricks.
Yep.
Well, he did the same thing to investors. He took boxes, filled them up with bricks, and just stocked them in a warehouse, and then he went public. So he got everybody to come down and look at all his inventory, and all these fact checkers, they're checking boxes with bricks in them.
Whoa.
And he had, 5 fucking warehouses all around. They were all fake, and he got all this money. He fled to Israel, and he fled for a while, but they knew he was a pussy hound. Right? So they got him like Escobar style. They got him like, on the phone, like I'm going to the store, something crazy. And what they did was they put a blonde on the side of the road with a mini skirt. And they knew eventually he would drive by and stop.
No.
And he stopped. That's how they nailed him.
What is did you Google the richest women in the world?
Oh, yeah.
Where they got their money from?
I got caught up in Crazy Eddie. Hold on.
Crazy
His
Eddie's
prices are
He's a bad
insane.
motherfucker, though. Paramus, Syosset, Queens, Long Island. Come now. And he had commercials. He was the first one that pushed the commercial barrier.
Yeah, he made fun
It
commercials.
was Imus and him. Like Imus had the pimp with a bunch of his hoes that would go, "Did you hear what my man said this morning?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he had a bunch of those. Crazy Eddie had the best one. He had Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman peeing at the peeing at the men's urinal.
I missed the Imus thing because I came in, like, I remember, I found out about Imus because Howard Stern was talking shit about him. And I was like, who is this Imus guy?
Imus was around when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was way,
Imus was when I was
got
like,
in way late. He was already
Imus
real
was
old.
already, Imus was the fucking king of New York when I was 8, 9. Imus would come on in the morning and talk shit.
When I saw him, he was wearing like a turquoise, one of those weird ties, those bolo ties that like cowboys wear, and he had a fucking cowboy hat on, and his whole studio was done like the West. It was real weird.
Yeah, he got weird at the end.
But it was real. He was wearing cowboy boots and shit. It was like, are you
Yeah,
a
he got-
rancher?
yeah, he
You're
got
doing a
weird at
fucking
the end.
AM radio show from New York City. Like,
Poor
what is
Imus
this?
got fucked up. And they were paying him. I mean, he was on for a while.
Remember he said nappy-headed hose, and they're like, cut!
That's it.
That was it. He called people nappy-headed hose.
Well, he tried to compete with Stern, right? That's what it was. There wasn't something at
It was
the end.
definitely some of that,
Something
but he
of
was,
that.
you know, he was trying to be outrageous even before Stern, I believe. It just wasn't at the same level. Stern's outrageousness was nationwide, but Imus was really like an East Coast thing. Like, people knew about him in New York. I never heard about him in New York, or in Boston,
In
rather.
Boston, no.
But I had heard about Stern. We all knew about Stern, but nobody really knew about, like, it never made it there. You know, and then when I came to New York, it was at the end, like when Stern was already the king, and Imus was just sort of like this guy that he hated. And I was like, who is this I-Man? Like, who is this Imus guy? And then he had a TV show for a while. And then during the TV show, you'd see him in the studio, and it was, you know, no disrespect, but it was really fucking boring. It was boring. Like, there was no life to them. Like, their opinions weren't that interesting. It was him, and then there was another guy there that looked like he was just waiting for the
Yeah, they
fucking
were
buzzer to
just-
ring.
yeah,
He's
no,
waiting to go home, and then there was a woman that was with him. There was no life in the room. Like, you watch the Stern show, there would be midgets shooting bottle rockets out of their assholes, and porn stars riding dildos, and it was chaos. There was plastic all over the ground because girls would be squirting. It was just madness. Like, no one had ever done. Not that that's good or bad, but it was exciting. Like, you're driving to work in the morning, you're hearing some girl freaking out because she's riding on some fucking that Sibian thing he'd make girls ride on. And like that, it was madness. So like that like you had never heard anything like that on the radio before. So then you would hear about Imus, and Imus like, well, what do we got here this morning? Oh, this nappy-headed hose. You're like, what?
Yeah, he tried to just be at the end.
It was just, it was in comparison. It was dead. It was like, it was dry.
Kennison on Stern was
Oh,
great.
God, he was
Fucking
amazing.
Flavor Flav, the one time on Stern. I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
great Sterns.
Dude,
Artie was so great back.
Artie was the best back
Artie
then,
was
man.
fucking amazing. If you listen to an old Artie one, when he had just gotten off the subway, he just shot heroin, God knows where. He'd had sunglasses on.
Yeah, you fall asleep.
That shit was fucking insane.
And he said like that they encouraged him, you know, but man, what are you going to do when a guy's like that? You going to help him? If you help, the problem with people that are that fucked up is the only thing that ever helps them is themselves. The only thing. It's like they have to hit rock bottom and then they have to decide they're gonna do something about it. But when you do get a lot of love for being fucked up, that is kind of a problem because you do start to think, this is my thing. My thing is being a fucked up guy. People love me when I'm fucked up. This is what I do. You know, and you can fall into that.
But Belushi had the same problem.
Yep.
The other guy, God rest his soul, had the same problem. There's a niche you fall into. I remember there was a pizza parlor when I was a kid. His name was Nick the Greek. Fucking tremendous pizza, even though he was Greek. Like, we let it slide. He put the Sicilian by the window, and it was the flies would land on it. It was like the airport for the flies. They would land. We would break his balls. Nick. But I remember I went in down to Quaalude one night, fucked up to the gills with vomit all over my shirt. And every time he'd see me, he'd call me fucking Belushi. That's when Belushi almost died. And he would, for years, he called me fucking Belushi. And there was another kid who had a beard, and he called him Ayatollah Khomeini. Like, he had nicknames for us. But that's a weird, it bothered me after a while. He would call me Belushi. And when Belushi died, it really started bothering me. Like, am I next? He would call me Belushi to my face. Look who it is, fucking Belushi.
Whoa.
I was fucked up. I went in there one night on a Quaalude and opened up the red pepper and threw it at him. But I used to sell him jewelry. Like I would sell him stolen jewelry. Me and Nick were tight. Nick was the pizza parlor 50 yards from the high school. And you could run a tab with Nick. And I used to give Nick jewelry, and he would look at me and he would go, "Speak, how much do you think that's worth?" Because jewelry was $800 an ounce at that time, gold. And I would bring him jewelry. He would look at it and then take it, give me money, and put it in one of his pockets from his
apron?
fucking apron. So 2 days later, I'd go in there and go, "Nick, let me use your bathroom." And I'd go in there and stick my hand in the apron and take the jewelry back. And then a week later, I'd go back to him, "Nick, how much for the ring?" And he'd look at me, and he was racist as fuck. Like he would either call me Belushi or Spick to my face, like it didn't matter. There was a kid, this is on Kennedy Boulevard. This is a big boulevard. And there was a kid that would come in there, and I'm still dear friends with, that his family had money, and he would go in there and buy a slice of pizza, but he would cross the street because the iced tea across the street was a dime cheaper. Remember when iced tea came in those fucking milk cardboards?
Yeah.
He would always cross the street. So Nick would be having a conversation. It was like, "What's going on?" And all of a sudden he'd go, "What's?" And we go, "He went across the street to get the ice cream." He would fucking flip out. He'd run from behind the counter, run onto Kennedy Boulevard. Hundreds of people would be out there. And he'd yell at the kid, "Tony, you fucking Jew." you fucking Jew. The kid wasn't Jewish. He was Italian. He was just cheap and shit like that. That's it.
10 cents. That you got to be pretty cheap to run across the street for 10 cents.
It was 45 cents for the iced tea, but at Hashways it was 35 cents. And he would run across the street. Then the Hashways deli was great because the mother was losing her hair. So every time you got a sandwich, you get a little piece of hair in your food. And so you wouldn't get hair. You'd go, "Miss Hash, you didn't get any more hair today." Everything had a little piece of a hair in it. The macaroni
Jesus
salad.
Christ.
And you ate it. Who gave a fuck? It was tremendous. She made the best roast beef on rye in the world. But in fact, the whole family, her and her son were losing their hair. And I learned from her son, like her son was losing his hair, but he couldn't control his emotions about it. He went to everything, Joe. He did the fucking stitches. He would spray paint his hair. He was one of those guys. The hat, like he tried, but the hair just kept falling out. He had the male pattern, whatever. We were kids.
But the mom had it too.
The mom had it.
Maybe it was something in the house.
I don't know what it was.
Nuclear
And
testing.
the dad had it, and the brother had it, and fucking everything you got there had a little piece of hair on it, dog. Whatever you got always had hair. If you didn't get hair, you were like beat. You're like, "Miss Hash, what's up? No hair today."
Did you say it to her face?
Oh, we used to torture her all the time.
no.
We love Mrs. Hash.
There's
And
something
Mr.
about
Hash,
a dude losing his hair. It's fucking devastating. But a woman losing her hair, way more devastating. There's something about women losing their hair. It kills them.
Really?
Oh, it's so sad. Yeah, I've seen women lose their hair. It's awful. They get alopecia. Alopecia is weird. Like you could lose your eyebrows. People lose their eyebrows. They lose sometimes shit just starts falling off.
There's a popular singer in a band, and he's got alopecia. And I just saw it. They busted him out 30 years later. You didn't know that was a wig even then? And I knew about him growing up, that he would just lose his hair, from time to time.
Some guys lose their eyelashes. They lose everything.
That's fucked up when you
crazy.
lose your eyelash.
Yeah.
And I'm getting older. Like my hairline is receding, but my eyeline's getting bushier.
Yeah, your eyebrows.
Eyebrows.
You get some crazy eyebrows.
Bro, they're getting bushier as shit.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes
weird.
I'm driving at night and there's something in my vision.
Try
and I got to go
eyebrow.
home and I got to fucking chop an eyebrow. It's like a satellite. And I ask my wife, "Don't you see this shit?"
Yeah, old guys. It's like old Scottish guys, old Irish guys, Scottish guys. Like, yeah, fucking caterpillars growing out of their
Dog,
eyebrows.
I got no hair on my legs. I got minimal hair on my shoulders. I got no hair on my back. I'm one of those
Yeah,
guys.
you don't have any hair on your arms or anything either.
Nothing. I got hair that grows out of my ears. This times I stick a Q-tip in my ear, and I can hear the hair twisting in my fucking ear. You know what that's like? My eyebrows, bro, get bushy as fuck. I got to bring scissors with me on the road to trim my, because in your mirror at home, you don't see this shit. It's till you get on the road with light in a hotel room, and you're like, "Look at this fucking hair growing out of my nose."
Did you find about the women with the investments?
I was waiting to
Oh, good.
from Newsweek in July.
Okay, what does it say?
is like right here.
The upper echelons of money and power, blah, blah, blah. According to Forbes, the world's 15 wealthiest people are men. Women only make up 10% of the top 100 separate wealthiest women in the world. Most of their money comes from their male relatives or husbands. Yeah. The top 10 wealthiest men made their fortunes themselves.
Now, who are the top 10 wealthiest women that didn't get it from divorce?
Oh, here they go. Though.
Oprah's got to be
Hold
up
on
there.
a second. Yeah, she's up there. The first self-made woman on the list is, wow, I don't know how to say this woman's name. Zhou. That's one word. Qunfei. Zhou Qunfei, who was born to a poor family in China, dropped out of school at 16. She went on to found an enormously successful technology company. But if you put men back into the equation, she's only 198th richest person in the world. No matter how you feel about the concept of few people hoarding enormous wealth, the notion that women can only access money and power through their families or husbands seems medieval at best. Yet we see it occur at the very top of many professions outside of the business world. Yeah, it's most people.
Can you read the next stuff?
Yeah, a
About
recent
Hillary Clinton?
high-profile example is Hillary Clinton. During her presidential campaign, the first female major party nominee, she campaigned on a ticket of empowerment, yet although she is accomplished in her own right, she entered politics as the wife of Bill Clinton and has undoubtedly benefited from his prestige and connections. Yeah, well, that's true, but she also
I thought
was
it
a
was
lawyer.
about money. I didn't mean for you to read that.
She was a lawyer and she was a senator.
Now, Oprah's up there as the
Yeah.
world's richest women, period, like that have made it on their own.
That's a weird thing because they're saying I'm not a big fan of Hillary Clinton, but by saying she definitely entered because she was married to him, but she was a lawyer. I mean, she's an accomplished person. She's educated, accomplished. She was a senator. I don't think that makes sense.
I hate when people say shit like that. You know what? You're at the right place at the right time, bitch. And you jumped. And you jumped.
Yeah.
You jumped, bitch. So that's the problem. I'm not mad at nobody. You can't say she got into... Yeah, she may be a little help, a push here, a call here, but she jumped.
There's a great book I'm reading right now. It's called Outliers by Malcolm McDowell. It's fucking great. And it's all about what makes people successful and why they were successful. And there are a lot of factors, man. There's a lot of factors in when you were born. Like a lot of it, he goes on about hockey players, about professional hockey players, that almost all of them were born at a certain time so that they were at the end of the age cutoff. So like say if you're between 10 and 11 when you go into, what is that, 5th grade? If you're one of the oldest kids, you have a way better chance of being successful at hockey because your body's more mature than whether you're one of the youngest kids that goes into 6th grade. So whether you're 5th grade or 6th grade, like what year you were born is a big factor. So the kids that were born later, so that they're older, rather, the kids that are older when they enter into the 5th grade or 6th grade, they're like across the board, unanimously, all the top level professionals were all older kids in younger grades. So that they're playing against smaller kids, they get more time, they're better, so they get more coaching, they get more hours playing. There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of factors in, like, one of the things about Bill Gates, that there's a whole great chapter on Bill Gates and about when Bill Gates was young, the the school that he went to had a computer class that allowed him to do coding, and then he got into the University of Washington. They would let him get into their computer room from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. They had this open block, so him and his friends would sneak into that place at 3 o'clock in the morning. So all these different factors that lead to someone being like super successful, it's not just that you work hard. It's sometimes you get these weird advantages in life. There's a bunch of things. Like, for sure, hard work plays a factor. If you don't do nothing, you just sit around and woe is me and cry and think the world's fucked, you're not going anywhere. But the people that make it to the very top, the Bill Gates, the Steve Jobs, they have a bunch of things going for them. It's not just hard work. It's also circumstance, fortune, where they are, who's around them, who encourages them. There's a bunch of what time they were born, in what age they were when certain things happened in the world. There's a bunch of factors. But for all those chicks, it's just marrying the right dude. Getting divorced. Getting paid. I know a lady who just got paid from a divorce, and she's just shooting shit into her face and banging 20-year-olds now. It's hilarious. She's in her late 40s, banging 20-year-old dudes.
How rough must that must be
It's funny, man.
to cut that check?
For the guy?
Yeah, that's a
it's
hard.
rough. I've known guys. I knew a guy who he cut a check for somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 million. Yeah, to his ex.
I know a guy who cuts a check for 30 grand a month. Gee, 30 grand a month. He
I
signs
know a
check.
couple guys that pay
and
that.
And that was not beside the $500,000 up front.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
house.
Yep.
2 cars. Like he just walked away.
I know a guy who's paying close to that, and he hasn't even seen his wife. He's been married to a new woman, a different woman, for 14 years. At least, 14 years. And he was only married to that lady for 12. And he's still cutting her checks. And no kids. He's got kids with a new woman. The old woman, no kids. Still cutting her fat checks. Tries to bring it to court, try to reduce the amount of money. She fights him tooth and nail. You son of a bitch, you left me. He left her 14 fucking years ago, man. They were only together for 12 years. It's like she doesn't want to work. He fucked her so hard she can't work anymore. It's crazy. If it was a man, if the situation was reversed and a guy was dating a girl and they were dating for 12 years and she was like, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go fuck some new dude. And the guy took her to court, got money from her, and then wanted money still 14 years later. What kind of a fucking man would that be? Like, get a job. Go do something with your life. You are a human being. You met another human being. You spent some time with them. They don't want to be with you anymore. It's over. Like this, there's no children
Now,
to
what are you
take care
going?
of.
What do you tell the judge that you want your lifestyle, right?
Yes.
The lifestyle that you were
I
accustomed
want to
to.
maintain my lifestyle, Judge. I like to buy nice purses. I like to walk my little dog. I like to put him in a little purse.
Now, in California, there's different factors also. You have to be with that person for 10 years or something, right? There's little factors, a couple by the ways.
There's factors, and they change, depending upon the laws, and they change depending upon how much money you make. And, my friend was pretty wealthy. He did well. But the guy who I know that had to pay $50 million, he's real successful, obviously. You got to make a lot of money to give your wife $50 million. But he still had to give her $50 million.
I see the kid. Listen, I see the kid point.
5-0, baby.
I see the child support point,
Here's the
and I
list.
see a little bit of help.
There's the list.
Here's the unique one.
Oh, Madonna's divorce from Guy Ritchie, estimated 76 to 92 million. She had to give him.
She's the first woman listed first on this.
Damn, she had to give him 76 million. Way to go, Guy Ritchie. I like to have him back here. Now I know how you buy those suits, motherfucker.
Now, what's his name? Pays the singer from Bush.
Look at this. Michael Jordan's divorce from Juanita Jordan, 168 million. Mel Gibson's divorce in 2006 after 26 years.
$425 million.
God damn. Stop scrolling. Look at this. Jesus Christ. Steve Wynn's divorce in 2010. 1 billion. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Steve Wynn. 1 billion. Rupert Murdoch's divorce in 1999 after 31 years of marriage. 1.7 billion.
Neil Diamond, 150. Harrison Ford, 118 million.
Whoa, Harrison Ford had to give up the cheddar.
Steven Spielberg, 100 million.
I remember that one. That girl was an actress, and she fucking vanished.
Kevin Costner, 80
James
million.
Cameron, Linda Hamilton, 50 million. Michael Douglas.
Paul McCartney, that's the chick that was missing the leg, right? Heather Mills.
Yeah, that's a dark one,
That's
man.
a dark
that
one
woman
there.
was mean. She was nasty, man. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Mick Jagger, 15 million, 25 million. He got off light.
Bro, Mick Jagger. Because remember, he fucking married in Jamaica, and it was like a Puerto Rican priest on his day off. So he knew it going in, because Mick Jagger ain't giving you dick.
I think
We
that
had
was
this
Jerry
discussion.
Hall. I think that was Jerry Hall.
Who's
I think that was
that
wife
one?
number 2.
Who's this one?
That's Bianca Jagger.
The first one.
The first one.
Yeah, he don't.
The first one he had to pay. The second one he's like, listen, we're gonna work around this one.
Oh yeah, he don't fuck around. That guy, before he was in the Stones. Jamie, what's the school he went to? Don't make me say something wrong. He went to the School of Wales or something for business. He's all about the cheddar. For the last 15 years, he's just been impregnating women all over the country and cutting them a check and saying,
London School of Economics.
Yeah, no. Listen, when it comes to there's stories that you hear that you're like, no, he didn't. Like, no, he did not.
What a drag it is getting old.
Do you see him? Do you ever see any of it? Joe Rogan, do you ever see any of his rehearsal things? Do you ever see any of his videos? Do you follow him at all?
I follow him, yeah.
Do you see any of the videos that he does of him working out in the afternoons at
he
72
works out
years
hard,
old?
Man.
Like him
hard.
dancing still like Michael Jackson.
Works out
and
twice
all
a
that
day.
stuff. That guy does not fuck around.
No.
And I still remember one particular story where he got to Boulder. They played with the Boulder Buffalo where the college plays. And he walked in and he goes, "What's wrong with those seats?" And they were like, "Well, Mr. Jagger, they're behind the stage. Bitch, you better get to selling. Because I ain't taking the stage until those motherfuckers are sold out."
He sold the tickets behind the stage.
Mick Jagger's brutal. They could pay for my ass. Mick Jagger's brutal, bro. He's brutal.
And that was back before they had those giant screens. There was no
This
giant
is
TV
this is
screens.
88.
They didn't have those giant screens back
This is
then.
88, 87. They don't give a fuck.
They didn't have those big LCDs where you could see them. Like if you go see, like, say, Drake, and he's at a theater in a round, and like you see his butt,
Right.
like you're gonna see his face on giant screens all around you. You'll see it, you know. If you go to see like a real popular person, and a lot of people are playing in the round, you know.
Mick Jagger's an interesting guy. I don't think he's like very tight. Watches his Gitas. Tight. You know, he's just like tight.
How much time does he have left, though? I mean, he's like 76, right?
No, 72 maybe.
72?
Bro,
75.
Yeah. Yep.
He's like 75. How much time you got left?
if he keeps...
If you're lucky, everything goes great. You got 25 years. But those last 25 are rough.
Not with what he's got. Because he could just lay there all day, have young girls massage him. He's Mick Jagger, dog. They could just blow on his little nutsack and sing fucking...
He's probably getting blood transfusions every day.
Yeah, no, he takes good care. He's the
Yeah,
backbone
look
of
at
the
him.
org. Look at him. He's the backbone of the organization. And just to think that Keith Richards is still alive and ticking, and there's people out there doing CrossFit.
And didn't Keith Richards write a book where he's kind of shitty about Mick Jagger?
He just told,
Kind of talk shit about each other, right?
that's how they sell books, dog.
Yeah, I know.
That's how they sell. Mick Jagger probably called him and said, do this
Tell
way.
the truth. Fuck it. Give me 10%.
And when I watch those little rehearsal tapes,
Look at
them.
his fingers. Look at those fingers. We're looking at
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards' fingers. Every knuckle is swollen to the point it's like double the size. He looks like he's got Megaton Diaz's hands. He's like a jiu-jitsu guy. You ever seen Megaton Diaz's hands?
Yeah, they're big fucking hands.
Mackenzie Dern's dad, the girl who made that video.
Yeah, you like
making
that?
fun of you. It's hilarious.
You like that?
Yeah, but her dad, Megaton Diaz, is a jiu-jitsu legend. All his life, he's done the gi. Guys who do the gi all the time, they develop real bad arthritis in their hands, and their joints swell up like crazy. See if you find Megaton Diaz's hands. That's not a good picture. But there's some pictures of his knuckles. They're crazy. They're all fucked up and twisted. Like, yeah, you can tell a little bit there. There you go. Zoom in on his
I
knuckles.
didn't know he was Mackenzie Dern's dad.
Yeah. Her dad is a fucking legend. Look, go zoom in on his hands.
That's as much as I could go.
Oh, that's as much as it goes. But you see how fucking flamed out those knuckles are? Guys have done the gi their whole life, and they're always grabbing and holding on to that gi. They get that. Yeah, it's okay. We get the point. But that's what Keith Richards' fingers look like. Like he's secretly doing jiu-jitsu on the sly.
But that's 40 years of playing
Look at
the
those
guitar.
fucking fingers, man. That is crazy.
That's guitar playing. 40 years, 50 years.
Meanwhile, he looks just as good as Mick Jagger. He's doing blow every day, eating cockroaches, smoking
I don't
cigarettes.
think he looks as good as Mick Jagger.
Look, they look great.
I don't think he looks as. I think Mick Jagger looks fucking sensational.
But he doesn't in the face. If you look at the two of them in the face, make that picture bigger, Jamie. Look at them in the face. Mick Jagger looks older. But that's just, it's hard to tell because Keith Richards is smiling.
Dog, we should go. I would love to see Mick Jagger still pull 21-year-olds out of the audience.
I bet they feel so weird when he fucks them. It must feel so weird. Like you want to do it. Like if I was a girl, I was 20 years old, I would fuck Mick Jagger just for the story. But when he climbs on top of you and you smell death, you smell it coming out of his pores.
He's not. He's just old. He's a bad
Just
motherfucker.
bad cells. You smell misfiring cells all over the place.
Listen, when we were growing up, bro, 70-year-old people didn't look like that. 70-year-old
No.
people were not going on the road.
They weren't dancing like
They
that.
weren't touring like that. That's something that you have to, and this is a new thing.
You have to do.
Well, it's
you know
this one. It's a new. All these bands. First of all these bands that are going out are in this. Ozzy. How about somebody called me the other day and they're like, "Hey man, I'm thinking of doing something New Year's Eve downtown. You know I hate New Year's Eve,
Right.
and I hate downtown even more. Fucking Ozzy Osbourne's doing the Forum, New Year's Eve. Ozzy Osbourne,
The Western Forum
the only Forum I fucking know in L.A.
in Inglewood.
Yeah, with Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson and fucking just, and I'm sitting there going, 70 years old, and he's doing New Year's Eve at the fucking
Probably
Forum.
got to. He's probably got to. His wife probably tells him, "The fuck out of the house. Go. Make money. Make money."
New Year's Eve at the Forum, Joe.
They connect his ankles together with rubber bands so he can't make big steps. Ever see how he walks? It's kind of just little.
Is that true, or you just goofing on me? You trying to pull a Mickey on me? Remember when Mickey made fucking Rocky put the tie your legs together? It's the same problem Rocky had.
Rocky
Marciano had.
His legs were too wide.
Tell me you saw the trailer for
Creed.
Creed.
The first one was good.
Did
I
you watch
enjoyed
it? Did
yes.
you? I told you. I called you
good.
and said, watch it. It's
good.
not an Academy Award winner.
No,
but
it's a decent movie.
You know, man. For years, I don't know how I felt about Sylvester Stallone.
I'm a fan.
I just didn't. Then I went to your house that time, and your wife was goofing on you, and she's like, "I think he's in love with Sylvester Stallone."
I always say
And
Sylvester
you
Stallone's my
you
canary in a coal mine.
You're like, look at this, look at him. You had a picture of his phone when he was 65. And
Jacked.
he was just jacked.
Yeah.
And I like all that shit and stuff. And then I was on a plane. And I said, let me watch this Creed. And Joe, I had tears in my eyes.
Aww.
Because I'm like, this guy has got no respect for years. Like, you look at him now, people goofed on him and shit. Dog, he wrote 2 or 3.
Whoa, he had his whole back done? Look at that. Wow, look at that. Like, zoom in on his back. Wow, I didn't know he had his whole back done. That's crazy.
Like, this guy wrote a fucking 2 or 3 franchises.
Yeah.
Like, this guy started, like, the other day they had some things about facts about a guy. Like, he was fucking broke. He had to sell his dog. He had to do all this shit for
How do you
him
sell
to
your
make
dog?
Rocky.
Yeah, look at that picture right there.
Yeah, look at this guy.
Jacked. 71. Jacked. Fucking jacked.
When I saw that commercial for the first one with Creed, I was like, I'm not watching this shit. And then AMC lately, every Sunday or something, they throw a Rocky on, and you say, what the fuck? I got 10 minutes before World News Tonight. And you start watching it, and you see the brilliance of what this man has done.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's just completely brilliant. Whether it's cheesy with 3, when he gets beat up and Apollo Creed takes him to the ghetto and makes him look at brothers, and they
how
teach him
big
how to.
Dolph Lundgren is.
Oh, and then Creed, that kid, by the way, is a badass motherfucker.
Michael Johnson.
Oh, and
Jordan.
in Black
Michael
Panther,
B.
and in
B.
Black
Jordan.
Panther,
He's great in
Jesus
that.
Christ,
He's great in
Him
that.
and the other guy are fucking superb. But this now, like, and you look at it and you're like me and you at the store behind it, like you would say to me, really, Joe Diaz, he's gonna fight the Russian son. I could have wrote that idea on a fucking It's still huge. It's still coming out Thanksgiving Day. This guy is
It's gonna
coming
be
out.
giant.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. I'll be there front and center at 1 o'clock.
What's crazy is that franchise started in the 70s. 70s. He made Rocky 1 in the 70s. I remember I watched it when I was a little kid. I drank raw eggs and I ran around the block. Like I just listened to a David Goggins fucking motivational speech.
I just I read about about this when they first started shooting this. He told him to hit him for real, and he put him in the ICU for 9 days. Dolph Lundgren. He said to try to knock him out.
What?
Yeah,
Why would he do that?
I don't know.
Dolph Lundgren was a legit Kyokushin karate champion.
Hey.
Dolph Lundgren's a bad motherfucker, like legitimate bad motherfucker. Like, you know, I mean, he did a bunch of those crazy action movies and he played the Punisher and all that stuff. But that guy was a legit karate champion. He's a bad motherfucker, Dolph Lundgren. I would not want that guy hitting me.
So what's this? What's this one called?
Lundgren put me in the hospital during Rocky IV. Why would he let him hit him? Well, you know who else knocked him? Antonio Tarver knocked Sylvester Stallone out when he was doing that movie where he was still boxing. Remember? Like just a few years ago, he was in his fucking 60s, and he was boxing in one of those movies. He fought Antonio Tarver, Magic Man Tarver, who's a heavyweight champion, light heavyweight champion, knocked out Roy Jones Jr. Remember when he stood in front of Roy Jones? Roy Jones goes, "Got any excuses tonight, Roy?" And then he knocked him out. Antonio Tarver is a bad motherfucker, and apparently when they were doing scenes in a movie, he clipped him and KO'd him.
Here's the quick story. He said for the first 45 seconds, he tried to really knock him out. He hit him so hard his chest started to, or his heart started to swell. His blood pressure went up. Had to go back on an emergency jet to America, and he was in ICU for 5 days.
Whoa.
And the insurance company would
He
not pay
says,
out.
now I'm in intensive care for 5 days with nuns walking around. Insurance company would not pay out after they saw the footage of the incident. Once they did, they wrote the check. He hit my heart so hard it banged against my ribs and started to swell. And that usually happens in car accidents. So I was hit by a truck. That is ridiculous. Stallone also talks about why he hated Lundgren from the get-go. They're friends now. Oh. Probably because he's a big, handsome fella from fucking Norway or where the hell he's from. Where's he from? Dolph Lundgren with that name.
Sweden, I think.
He's from some
Yeah, he's
some
like
lab.
Gustafson's cousin.
Yeah.
He's like Alliston Gustafson's cousin or something.
Yeah, Sweden.
Sweden. He's a legit bad motherfucker, though.
I didn't know that he was a Kyokushin guy. I didn't even know he was
a karate champion. Yeah, I think he was a national champion. Kyokushin's no joke, man. Those fucking guys. That's a hard style. Very hard style.
That's GSP
Masoyama.
also, isn't
Yeah.
it? Isn't that GSP style also?
Yep.
Kyokushin.
Yep. I think Masoyama was Kyokushin. I'm pretty sure.
They're really hard hitting motherfuckers.
It's a very hard
the
style.
punches,
Leg
yeah.
kicks, a lot of wheel kicks. What they do in the tournaments, Kyokushin tournaments, they'd punch to the body, full blast, but kick to the legs, the head, the body, and they stand right in front of each other and beat the fuck out of each other. It's horrific. It's like kind of the opposite of Taekwondo was a lot of kicks and punches only to the body too, but Kyokushin, they threw leg kicks in there, and there wasn't a lot of footwork with most of those guys. Most of those guys like stood in front of each other and battered each other. But a lot of Kyokushin guys went on to be really successful in kickboxing. In fact, a lot of the Holland influence in kickboxing came from a Kyokushin background. Like they started out with Kyokushin and kickboxing, and then they learned Thai techniques as well. But a lot of those guys had an influence of Kyokushin karate, very big in Europe.
It's crazy. When I first started in martial arts, the big thing was the sweep.
Sweep the
In
leg.
the early 70s, everybody swept.
Yeah.
You faked 2 high kicks, and even if it was a spinning back kick, the third one was a sweep, and that motherfucker was gone. I used to go to all those karate tournaments, and that was my shit. I throw 2 high spinning back kicks. Yeah, I didn't even want them to hit.
Sweeps are legit.
And nobody sweeps anymore. Nobody
They
sweeps.
still do in MMA and Muay Thai. It's
A
big.
little bit in MMA, but not as much as I'd expect.
Well,
a good sweep with a good fucking leg. If you set him up, a good old-fashioned sweep. I mean, what's his name has that little sweep the leg, push you back. Your boy here.
John Jones?
No, the other guy. John Jones has it too.
Yeah.
All those wrestlers
Gaston
have that little.
Bolaños does that shit a
Yeah,
lot.
all that little sweep. I like that little sweep. But I'm talking about from the fighter's position to just come into you with a sweep and throw your legs out from under you. It takes a bunch of fakes. So I'm here with you.
Yeah.
It's basically off like ba, and instead of the elbow coming around, your leg comes around and sweeps that guy off his feet.
Right.
He lands on his back, and you attack with your left.
There's still some guys that are really good at sweeps. The thing about MMA is just there's so many different things going on, but in Muay Thai, sweeps are huge in Muay Thai. It's a big part of the sport. That's why I got
once you catch that leg,
Gaston Bolaños, when who fights in Bellator, he's so high level in Muay Thai. Now he's getting into MMA. And he's fucking guys up, not just with sweeps, spinning elbows, all sorts of shit. They're just his level of Muay Thai. Like Muay Thai involves a lot of grappling, a lot of weird stuff.
I remember listening to Kenny Florian one time, and he goes that, Muay Thai even has a couple aspects from jiu-jitsu in it. I guess not jiu-jitsu, but something else.
Greco-Roman.
Greco-Roman,
a lot
when
of
you grab
tie-ups.
behind it.
Well,
Yeah, a
they're
lot of
always
tie-ups.
clinching. There's a lot of clinch work, and those guys develop really strong cores and necks. They grab each other by the back of the neck, and they're moving each other around, sweeping each other all the time. There's so much involved in framing with your forearms and sweeping the legs out and twisting and changing angles. It's a great when you learn the other aspects of wrestling. When you learn takedowns and control, and then when you learn jiu-jitsu and all these other, like having that background from the clinch from Muay Thai is so gigantic because so many different things open up from there. Elbows open up from there, knees to the body open up from there.
You wrestled in high school, G?
I wrestled 1 year in high school
Why didn't you wrestle all four?
because I was still doing Taekwondo at the time, and I had to figure out what was more. What was more important to me? I couldn't do both. It was just too
I
exhausting.
didn't like that wrestling shit. Mr. Tabacino, he used to have that fucking weight room down to like 190. They were doing Hatha Yoga before Hatha Yoga was invented. That room stunk, and it was hotter than death
I was
in there.
always thinking there was asbestos coming off the ceiling, too.
No.
I was like, what is covering these pipes? No one's checked these pipes. I'm like, I don't want cancer. What is happening in this wrestling
All
room?
those fucking schools had asbestos in it. We breathed asbestos. I ate paint chips in kindergarten.
All the water had lead. If it didn't have lead, you'd be like, what?
I went to the park yesterday with my daughter, and there was a lady next to me, and she asked me where I was from. And she goes, her father was from Brooklyn, and we started talking. She had a beautiful little 2-year-old. And the 2-year-old got caught on one of the monkey bars, and the father had to go over and help her. And she goes, I remember going up to my father's neighborhood and seeing his play yard. There were nothing like these. And I go, I still remember coming from Cuba and doing that, the monkey bars. But then you get so good that you put your legs up and you hang by your knees.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, bro, I didn't hang right, and I landed on that concrete. There was no rubber in those days. It was just straight up concrete. Half the first grade, I fucking twitched. I twitched half the first grade. I landed right on my fucking neck. I never got on a monkey bar again.
Monkey bars break a lot of kids.
I don't fuck around with monkey bars at all, dog.
I broke my arm in a monkey bar. My daughter broke her arm in a monkey bar. Yeah. Another kid in my daughter's class broke her arm in a monkey bar.
How do you break arm in a monkey bar?
Fall down. Try to catch yourself. Post your arm. Snap. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
It's real common. Monkey bars are fucking dangerous because you don't have the hand strength yet. You're 6 years old. So you're grabbing a hold of bars and you're swinging. You just don't really have the dexterity, the hand strength. And it slips and you fall back and you post and snap.
You gotta see my daughter on that monkey bar. She gets it. She does it until her hands bleed, dog. She gets little blisters. The mother's got to put Band-Aid on.
Your daughter's fierce.
Then she's not
She's a
allowed
fierce
on
little
it
girl.
again. Yeah, I like that about her.
She's fierce.
I take it to it. I put a lot of time into that shit. It's really weird because of the Kavanaugh situation and the Harvey Weinstein situation. You're a dad. I'm a dad. It's different in how you got to raise your daughter now. This has affected me in a way. The Kavanaugh thing was pissing me off for a few weeks because I don't like the idea that they could come back to you for something you did in high school. That's just not right in my world. Unless I fucked you in the ass in high school and covered your mouth, I didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was the thing he did do, though. He did cover
He
her
covered
mouth.
her mouth or whatever, but
Who knows what really happened?
But nobody
right?
knows, and nobody
Yeah.
knows. Nobody knows. So it was
So
36
long
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I've known you for 20, and I've seen you sweeten up over the years. We all change. You're not the same Joe Rogan I met 20 years ago.
I'm definitely not the same
So-
guy I was in high school. That's
no,
for sure.
no, come on, dog, please.
But he was a guy that was hanging around with a bunch of drunk jocks, and we all remember drunk
yeah,
jocks.
and you know,
And that environment, that sort of the environment of like being around a bunch of drunk guys who are constantly one-upping each other. That's a sketchy fucking environment, and that's frat houses.
well, the Yale thing scared me. That's when I thought, those guys, they're rich boy kids, dog. You know what happens when they get
Yep.
a little bit of money? Everything's been covered up all their lives.
Yeah.
Everything's been covered up all their lives, you know. When I was a kid, I knew this girl. They used to call her Mindy Head. And on Friday nights, they'd get in a car and they'd drive it to, like, fucking Connecticut and tell her she had to suck all their dicks to get home. God knows where that poor girl is today. Last time I saw her was 1993 getting coke in a building in Harlem. And she's like, you got to save me. I'm with some guy in a car. He doesn't want to leave me alone. I'm like, listen, bitch, I'm walking to my car. I never saw you before in my life. I swear to God,
Yeah.
I bumped into her in a cop house on 181st Street 10 years after high school. I'm in the fucking 4th floor with some Dominicans. I'm walking down the stairs, and there's Mindy Head. And she's like, what are you doing here? The same thing you're fucking doing here, obviously. You know.
What's fucked up is for some people, their experiences in high school define them. I just watched that Stephen King movie, It, the most recent one.
With the clown?
Yeah, pretty fucking good. But one of the things that I was thinking when I was watching it was like how fucking mean kids are in school to each other. Like, you kind of forget about that, and then you watch one of those movies about people being mean to people, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember going around to get away from a guy that was picking on me, that was fucking with me, and like you would be scared of running into him at the bus stop and scared of seeing him after school, and that's why I got into martial arts in the first place. I got tired of being scared of people.
I
Scared
was
of
in
getting picked
martial
on.
arts, and I was still fucking scared. Let me
was
tell you
scared,
something.
too,
The
afterwards.
funniest thing about the movie It was that it fucked with clowns. So 2 months later, a bunch of clowns got together and went on strike. They went downtown and they had a parade.
When?
Not a parade. What do you call when people get together and they fucking have signs?
This is recently?
This is right after that movie was released.
In 2017.
Whenever that movie was released, a month later, 2 months later, a bunch of clowns in the California area got together downtown and picketed Stephen King because they were losing work as clowns.
Oh, Christ.
Because they had lost. A bunch of clowns got canceled. They lost all their clown season work or some shit.
I read the book a long time ago.
Which one?
It. I remember I was like, man, how are they going to make a movie out of this? And they made a movie out of it way back in the day with John Boy from the Waltons. Remember the dude with the mole on his face?
Yeah.
He had a ponytail in it. I watched it the other night on TV, just flipping through the channels. It was on. And it was a couple days after I'd seen the most recent version of it. It was hilariously bad. It was so stupid. But it was John Boy with the Waltons. And it might have been... How many versions of that It movie did they make? Was it just 2? The first one was the first one with Tim, the guy from the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Yeah. That was who the clown was. Yeah, it was so stupid. It was like... it wasn't scary at all. I mean, not even remotely. But the new one was pretty fucking scary.
Well, Stephen King, dog, is a fucking crazy motherfucker. We both read On Writing.
Yeah, it's a
And
great
we
book.
both... Did you see him on Sons of Anarchy ever?
No.
They contacted him, like, we want you to be on Sons of Anarchy. He's like, listen, the only way I'll be on Sons of Anarchy is like if I could ride my motorcycle. They had to go back and forth, like, we don't need you. What'd I just tell you? If I go on Sons of Anarchy, I got to ride my motorcycle. So he played a creepy guy that makes you disappear after they kill you.
Really?
Like, he comes in and measures you. Like, you're on the floor dead, and he walk in, measure you, and tell you what he needs. I need a rope. I need some gasoline. I need a car. I also need a selection of 70s classic rock. And then you disappear. When you come back, there's nothing there. and they walk him out. He tells you what you want, how much, 800. You pay him the 800. If you only have 6, he'll look around the room. He'll just take like a statue, and he'll just walk out of your house, ties the statue on the motorcycle. Look at him. He was classic on Sons of Anarchy.
You know, the crazy thing about him was his battle coming back from getting hit by that guy in a car. He was walking. I think it was in Maine, right? He was walking, and some guy wasn't paying attention and fucking hit him in his car and just destroyed his body. Like, just destroyed his body. Like, I mean, he was fucked up for a long,
In a motorcycle?
long
On a
time.
motorcycle?
Yeah. Shattered his... No, he was walking. He was just walking. And he got hit by a guy in a van.
Doug, when I read that, I think you turned me on to it. When I read that chapter on Carrie, how he had written half a Carrie and threw it away, and his wife found it and made him finish it, and it was about a girl with a period or something crazy, and how, I was in shock.
Great book. Carrie is a great book.
Great. Carrie and Cujo are my favorite Stephen King books. Cujo, till this day, I have it. I look at it and I respect it. It's like cocaine. I don't even open that book. I just look at it and touch it from time to time, and I go, ooh, I don't know if I want to get into that thing.
You know, it was a great book that they did, like the movie version of it. It's just like, was Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary is a book. There's some things about books. You know, I hate the cliche that books are better. Oh, the book's better. But what is interesting about books is there's certain things that you shouldn't really see. You should only imagine. Like they work out better you're in your imagination. Like there's something much creepier about them in your imagination. And Pet Sematary, I think.
You
was
ever
one.
write about something creepy you've done? Like whenever I have a hard time sleeping or something like that, something's going on with me. So instead of sitting in bed and having what's called insomnia, I get up and I write it out. When you read that back, it's like when I write about something I did as a kid, whether it's robbing Freddie at Putnam Fuel. When I was a kid, I used to rob this gas station every 8 weeks. And, you know, like when I was in West Palm Beach, a kid showed up. Kid showed up from high school. And when I was in West Palm Beach, and he goes, I will have something. And he goes, this is a map you drew of us. We're about to rob a gas station in 1981. He still had the map of me with stick men. We would rob this gas station every 6 to 8 weeks.
Stickmen coming from the left, I'll come in from the north.
I don't even know what the fuck the point I'm trying to make was. I forgot it somewhere along the line. But
Write about things that you did that were
even when I write
young.
about that and you read them, it's different. Fuck you. Reading is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
To build imagination. That's why when you read Silence of the Lambs and you watch the movie, you got to get everybody in that room and give them a big hug because they kept it honest. They kept it real. When you read William Blakely's The Exorcist, and then The Exorcist has been on for the last 2 weeks on AMC, and I've been watching bits and pieces of it, and I can't applaud it more.
You know who's fucking great in that movie? The priest.
That's Jackie Gleason's son-in-law.
Is it really?
Yes.
Wow.
Who's Jason whatever's father.
Jason whatever? Who's that?
Who he was in Sleepers with Brad Pitt, De Niro. He played the newspaper reporter. That's his fucking father. But Damian Karras plays the priest. That's Jackie Gleason's son-in-law. He married Jackie Gleason's daughter. And it's funny because last week I was in my office typing, and my wife called. She goes, I'm going to be home in 20 minutes with the baby. So I don't know what you're doing. I go, all right. So I went out to the living room, and I turned the TV on just to be out there because I know she's going to want to watch cartoons or whatever. And I saw The Exorcist was on. I turned it on. And, dog, it came on when the priest comes to the door, which if I ever bump into that director, I will take his dick out and suck it. Because that's what real directing is. He scared you without showing you anything.
Yeah.
Remember, when the priest comes to the door, all you see is an image from the priest, and you don't see what his face looked like, and it scares you. But when he walks in, he takes this motherfucker, and the guy says to him, can I get you something? How was your trip? Can I get you something? And he goes, do you want some coffee? And he goes, no, let's do this. And this guy's a psychiatrist. You have to watch it again. This guy's a psychiatrist. Not only is he a priest, and he starts dropping psycho, and the priest looks at him and goes, knock it off. The devil is cunning. He'll attack you psychological like nobody else. Do not listen to him. And he just breaks it down. And then the guy says to him, do you want to know the 3 levels of manifestation? And he looks at him and he goes, no, there's only one. Satan is Satan. Dog, it's just right there. You're like, so my daughter walks in.
While it's on?
The 5-year-old walks in and she sits on my lap and she's a Bible beater. I don't know if you know this, that Mercy's a Bible beater. She loves anything with God and, you know, I got a little fucking thing she gave me with Jesus, a fish. Yeah, Mercy, my daughter's a Bible beater. Even though she goes to fucking public school, she'll come home and tell me they didn't talk about God today. So she's watching this whole manifestation of these 2 priests talking about God is powerful, God's going to kill Satan, da-da-da-da-da-da. And all of a sudden, they walk into the room, and she's sitting up, and she's like, and my daughter caught, it took her like 30 seconds to just look at me, and she just ran out of the room. Like she doesn't know who Satan is, nothing. She just ran out of the room. This is one of the scariest movies, one of the finest movies. She elevates herself, comes down. What about when they do the first thing, they walk out, and what about when they walk back in and he's a doctor, so he's checking her heart. And she turns into the mother in the hospital and starts saying, dear me, why you do this to me? And the priest told him, don't listen to him, that the devil's cunning. You know, and all of a sudden, what about when he comes in and he goes, Father, how about sparing 5 cents for an old altar boy? Because the devil I mean, bro, you have to watch it. And while all this is going on, you have to remember that there's a murder going on. Because the first night when she came down, before the devil came in, some guy was talking shit, a Nazi was talking shit, a Jewish guy was talking shit about a Nazi or something. And she comes down and pees and says, you're going to die, motherfucker.
She said you're going to die up there to an astronaut, wasn't it? Wasn't he an astronaut?
He was something downstairs.
Didn't she say something like that? You're going to die up there?
No, he was downstairs. They were in the living room and they were singing like a...
But didn't she was talking to a guy who was an astronaut and she
I'm
said,
not sure.
You're gonna
I thought
die
she just
up there.
said, you're going to die. And then she peed the carpet.
Yeah.
And then...
It was a dinner party.
And then a couple nights later, they found the guy on the bottom of the stairs, but it couldn't have been a girl because they twisted his neck all the way around.
Right, yeah.
So it had to be a man. And that's why you have to watch that movie when the cop comes to talk to the mother, who's a famous actress.
Last time I watched it was like 5 or 6 years ago.
It's first of all, it's a deep, dark...
Great movie. That girl got fucked up doing that movie, you know.
Bro, listen, how can they make a 12-year-old girl stick a cross in her pussy?
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about the truth now. She stuck a cross in her pussy, took it out, grabbed her mother by the ears, put her and said, suck it, eat me, lick me.
Yeah.
All right, and then picked her up and smacks her and throws her across the fucking room.
She says, your mother sucks cocks in hell.
That's what she told the one priest. And I saw that in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Shame on them. Like, if I could sue the Union City Cinema today, I would sue them. Because they didn't check my ID. They didn't give a fuck. They took my $2 and they threw me to the fucking wolves. But I also saw...
What is her name again?
Linda Blair.
Linda Blair.
She showed up 20 years later. She started hanging out with Rick James.
Oh, man.
She showed up 20 years later with Rick James. I wonder what Linda Blair is doing today. But I hope they paid her a lot of money because she never really recovered from that.
No.
She never really worked after that. It's tough to get work after you put a cross in your pussy. I mean, that's Ginger Lynn. It's tough to get a commercial for fucking Desinex.
Well, it's also people never forget you were that person. Like, it's very difficult for people to have a changed perception of
When
you.
she walks down the stairs.
Yeah. Backwards.
What about when her head spins around in front of the priest? I mean, it's just too out there for a movie. They can never... They think of remaking that every once in a while, and they look at each other. Look at it.
Jesus Christ. That was a creepy fucking movie. And you got to realize that back then, there was nothing like this before this movie. This movie was so extreme. Like, there had been horror movies before, but it was like Frankenstein or Dracula. They were kind of scary. but they weren't bloody. There was nothing like this movie. This movie was so over the top. And a lot of people at the time were like, the movie represented something. It represented a changing of boundaries. That people, these young kids, these people today, like, what the fuck are they doing? What kind of movies are they making?
Catholics
like, what
were
is
pissed.
this? Oh,
I remember being in Catholic school, and they were just pissed. They were telling us not to go see it. We weren't allowed to go see it. I was right there when the movie got released, and I had to see it. And
Of course. As soon as they tell you can't see it, you're going to see it.
Blew my fucking. That's where I saw Rocky, where everybody was on their feet yelling for Rocky. This is when America was different. Everybody was yelling Rocky, and I also saw The Longest Yard there, the original. And this was a movie theater that was basically Irish, Italian, and Cuban, but they talked, they yelled at the screen. You know, they threw things at the screen, and when the fucking Longest Yard, when Burt Reynolds was coming back, the whole place was on their feet. This is a great movie theater, and they let you in. They played the last movie at 11:30. I saw, you know how many times I saw Enter the Dragon in there? The late movie. My mother would let me walk up there because it was on 48th Street, and my mother's bar was on 29th Street, and she'd go ahead. I saw everything there. Fist of Fury, The Outlaw Josie Wales, all those fucking movies I saw there. Anything they played, I'd just go there as a Spanish kid and watch it and learn the language, and loved it.
They had limitations in what they could do with special effects. And so because of that, you had to accomplish much more even with American Werewolf in London, right?
The original.
The original.
What year was that made?
I want to say 81, if I'm going to guess. What year was it? Was it 81? The special effects, even though they were groundbreaking for the time, like when he's lying down the floor and his body's stretching out, he's like, ah! And he's turning into the wolf like that shit when his face is stretching out. I mean, those are groundbreaking special effects. Like no one had ever seen anything like that.
This I enjoyed. It's watching a movie now, and 30% of it, 40% of it is CGI.
Yeah, well, that's
it
what I was
drives me
gonna say.
fucking crazy.
I watched
that
Underworld
shit drives me crazy.
The other day.
Which one?
Underworld.
With Kevin Costner.
No. That was with the
I'm sorry.
hot girl, the vampire, and the lichens
What's
versus
the hot girl?
vampire.
Kate Beckinsale?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, she's tremendous.
She's tremendous.
She's tremendous.
She's so hot.
She's just tremendous. I fell in love with her with the movie when she got caught with heroin with Claire Danes at the jail in Thailand.
Oh,
That's how long I've been in love with her.
What movie
I go
was that?
deep with her and Claire Danes. Kate Beckinsale, something, they both fell in love with the same guy, and he put heroin on him, and he put him in a prison.
So I was flipping through the channels while I was
Broke
working
down
out.
Palace.
There it is. When I was doing that, I'm doing this fucking fitness challenge with Ari and Bert and Tom, and I'm just watching anything I can on TV while I'm on the elliptical machine or the rower or whatever the fuck I'm doing. And I was watching one of the Underworld movies, and I realized there's like 10 of them. I mean, how many fucking Underworld movies has there been?
At least 4.
Oh, there's more than that.
How many has she been in?
All of them.
No.
She's the main star.
Yeah.
They're so stupid. The fucking one that I saw, I mean, it was like deep in. She has a daughter now, and there's 5 of them. I don't know which one I saw, but
I think I saw the first 2.
yeah, I think the one
And
I was
after that,
watching
it got
was.
a little out of control for me. That was it.
I think I was watching Blood Wars. It was so dumb. But anyway, the CGI, the werewolves are so corny. They show you too much. It looks fake. And the thing about an American Werewolf in London is they showed you little quick snippets of the thing before it would kill people. And it was just enough. Like, look at that. They look so stupid. It just looks fake. Like CGI just does not look. And that was something that Pat McGee, the guy who made the werewolf out there in the lobby, it's what he had told me. He's like, when you see your brain can tell that's not real. Like, even if it looks really good, your brain can tell it's not real. He's like, what your brain, like if your brain sees special effects like makeup, like that kind of stuff, like a face that's been done with like prosthetics and teeth and fangs, your brain says, oh, that's a real thing. That's a thing that's right in front of you. Yeah, look, these werewolves are so corny. when they're running looks fake. Their shadows look fake. But pull up scene from American Werewolf in London, like the actual werewolf. They had very, very quick scenes. You didn't see much of the werewolf. It was like very fast. Like you see it running through the streets of London. You see it snapping at things. Like in that one, that's in the beginning when they first got jacked by the wolf.
Jesus.
Yeah, like this. Give me some volume. Here, put the headphones on. Back it up for a second. Back it up. So they're running.
You really scared me, you shithead. You gonna help me up or what? Jack. Jack.
So you didn't see much.
Well, here's
Why
the
are you
problem.
smiling, Jamie?
Here's the
Corny?
problem.
Yeah.
It's 1981, bro.
I know. I remember seeing it when I was
Here's
a kid.
the problem,
but,
Joe
like,
Rogan. You said it best a couple minutes ago. The thing that pisses me off the most is in today's the whole movie business. I grew up on the movies. I'm a fucking immigrant kid. I love movies. Remember when they have Tony Montana in the fucking detention thing, and he goes, "How'd you learn how to speak Spanish, English?"
Yeah.
He goes, "I watched a movie circling." He's, bro, Cubans, anybody.
Felipe
You know,
Esparza told me that. He learned from watching TV.
Everybody. So you watch TV. The problem that happened somewhere between 85, maybe 87 and today is the disconnect of the director. And you're asking me, Joey, what's the disconnect of the director? The imagination. I just watched something on Scarface. I almost called you because it was so interesting about the dilemmas they had with Scarface when they gave it an X rating. Scarface came out. Pacino said that at the release, at the party of Scarface, he just sank. People were getting up and leaving 20 at a bunch. They took Joan Collins aside, and they said to Joan Collins, "What did you think of the movie?" And she goes, "I left after." No, she goes, "I think 100 fucks is enough fucks for a person's lifetime." Like they were so, but they showed that's enough for a person's lifetime. I left after a half. They counted how many fucks he said, and all this stuff. But that's not my point. The point is that when they, the guy that directed it had to go in front of a board. It's a big difference about me showing
Chainsaw.
going through your arm
Yeah.
than you seeing it and then seeing your face and you bleed. You follow me?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. That's why they had to go to that.
That was better.
Yes. You know, they had the X rating. You know, that's a beautiful story. It's supposed to be me, you, and him, and he's supposed to make the decision. The director brought violence specialists, psychiatrists, but he brought in 100 witnesses. They were there all fucking day to prove his point, to take it from an X-rated movie to an R-rated movie. When you watch Once Upon a Time in the West, Sergio Leone was the king of the directors because he gave you the decision to decide. Are you with me? He gave it to you. When Charles Bronson gets off the train, the beginning of Once Upon a Time in America, and there's three dudes waiting, and the train goes by, and all of a sudden it stops, and all of a sudden you hear a harmonica, and you hear Charles Bronson going, "Rrrr," and they look up and they see Charles Bronson, but they're not. It's not focusing on Charles Bronson. Sergio Leone's fucking with you. He keeps showing you this fucking thing that keeps going, like, take me back, Sergio Leone. Let me watch this gunfight. He gave you imagination. Directors gave you imagination. They gave you a split second to decide what was going to happen. Now, I know the story before it happens. The director was something special. That's why Sergio Leone those guys, those spaghetti westerns were genius because they gave you. Are you
Yeah.
with me?
Yeah.
You gave me a second to split decide.
Yeah, you had to think about
What's
it.
going on? That scene, I could have put it in his arm or showed Pacino's face.
Well, you remember High Plains Drifter?
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Is that the one where he's a ghost and he
Yeah.
comes back
Yeah.
and paints it? No, paint time.
No. It's that's not. Is that High Plains Drifter? Am I getting the wrong name one? I mean, I'm thinking about
Me
the one
too,
that where
me
he
too.
comes back as a ghost.
Right, that's the one.
Yeah.
High Plains,
Was it?
hang 'em high.
I don't know if it was Hang 'em High.
What's the one where he has the shield underneath and he knows they only shoot for the heart? And they keep shooting at him and he falls down. And they shoot at him and he falls down. They shoot at him and he falls down.
I don't remember. Jamie, Google Clint Eastwood comes back as
piss
a
real
ghost.
quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
High Plains Drifter. Yeah,
It is
yeah.
High Plains Drifter.
There you go. It just isn't in the description for some reason.
Yeah.
Part ghost story, part revenge western.
The thing about that movie is like you don't realize it's like they don't spell it out for the dummies that he's a ghost.
So is it like Sixth Sense then?
No.
Okay.
Like you have to figure it out at the end of the movie, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I saw it, but at the end of the end of the film, they sort of lay it out in the beginning. The beginning they show, God, I might be wrong here. I feel like the beginning of the movie is them beating him and killing him. They whip him, and at the end of the movie, you kind of realize it's him coming back towards the end of the movie. But it's not like specifically spelled out like there was a curse and he came back to haunt this town and kill everyone. It wasn't that cornball. So if you go back to like the older movies, you go back to like, you know, like a Frankenstein or a Dracula type film, they spelled things out. Like they treated you like you were a dumbass and they spelled things out. And they eventually stopped doing that and they put mystery and imagination in films. And then somewhere along the line, at least with like modern blockbusters, if I had to guess, I would say part of the problem is there's so much money involved in these movies. If you're going to make a film and you know it's some gigantic thing with special effects and the studio is dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into it, they want a return on their money.
I saw people discussing that. I think Johnny Depp was just, I don't know, kicked off isn't the right word, but he's not going to be in the next Pirates movie, I guess. And they were discussing under, like in the comments section, like it was the last one was the worst one that of the lot, and they
Yeah.
spent $330 million on the budget, but it made $800 million, and they're like, that's a fail. Some people are saying like that's a failure.
Yeah, for them it's a
Making
failure.
$500 million is not good.
Well, Johnny's off the rails right now. He
Yeah, he's
shaved
done.
his head.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp. He looks like he weighs 35 pounds. He shaved his head. He's falling out of his jeans. Whenever you get like 2 tattoos of a woman you only been married to for like 6 months, these are all bad signs.
Joe Rogan, this is a very rough town to live. Ego is a motherfucker. People blowing smoke up your ass is a motherfucker.
Sure.
I mean, this guy's spending $500,000 a month on wines.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know exactly. Don't quote me on that, but I know that when the account, I read
The
bits and
accountant said
parts.
they said that he was spending $30,000, and he goes, it was a lot more. He was joking around about it. It was a lot more than that. Like, look at these pictures of him now. Stay humble or be humbled. He's wearing a shirt. Dude, you're 55 years old. Why the fuck would you wear that shirt? Well, who's walking around? Meanwhile, I got a Derek Lewis, my balls was hot shirt on. But look, these like fucking inspirational quotes you expect to see on some stripper's Instagram page. You're not supposed to be wearing those when you're Johnny Depp, okay? This is outrageous, Johnny Depp.
And
Why
I
are you
heard
wearing
this-
that on a shirt?
And I heard that this last movie he did, mucho problemas.
Mucho what?
Problemas. A lot of
A
problems.
lot of problems. What was the movie?
The Tupac movie.
Yeah, but it's on shelved, right? They're not putting it out.
Is he the
Is it on
cop?
shelf?
Yeah, they're not putting it out.
No.
Or at least for right now, it's not coming out.
Is he a cop?
Yeah, I think he's the
he
cop.
plays the cop that broke. If you read, I forget the. That's a good book.
Yeah.
The whatever. I forget. I have it at the house. He plays the cop, and I heard that there was a lot of little that, and the word got out. That's it.
Well, you know, Johnny Depp at one point in time, when he had done that movie Dead Man, do you remember Dead Man?
No.
Interesting movie. It was a weird black and white movie about a guy who was riding a fucking train across the West. He was talking in an interview about how he wants to do interesting projects. He goes, I'll never be Blockbuster Boy. But then he became Blockbuster Boy.
Oh, but he's badass in Pirates of the
Oh,
Caribbean.
look, he's
I
fucking
don't give a fuck what anybody says. I
phenomenal.
love him. Phenomenal.
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 He's
the
really
chick is
good.
good. I love him.
He's a great actor.
They cut him loose. He made a ton of money for them. They did 5 fucking movies.
But, you know, he's boys with Stanhope.
Right.
And
right.
essentially, Johnny Depp. Oh, these fucking motherfuckers with their. Everybody thinks you're going to spend money on their website. Guess what? We're not. We're not paying to read your fucking website. We're not. Johnny Depp, what does it say? And Biggie, Tupac movie abruptly pulled from release.
Forrest Whitaker in it too. It looks like
Yeah.
like a month before it was supposed to come out, they just pulled it.
Well, it must suck. They don't pull it if it's awesome. But the point is, you know, Stanhope's boys with him, and he said that once he did those Pirates movies, he couldn't go anywhere. It was over. He can't go to restaurants. He can't go anywhere. He just can't go anywhere. He hit that upper echelon of fame where it's almost there's no turning back. When you get like Michael Jackson type fame, you just get crazy. Your world is just no one can relate to you.
What were they giving him per movie? He was making like $30 million a movie with back end and everything.
I bet he was making more than that.
More than that, right? Yeah, he's got like 18 houses, a boat that costs $30,000.
He's got 14
to find.
houses.
You know,
I remember when I was in Colorado, someone said he had a ranch out there. I go, does he ever go there? He goes, no,
no.
just has a ranch.
What about when I house sat for the guy that owned TGIF Fridays? He was on the board of directors.
Did you?
Yeah, when I lived on 435 Faraway Road in Snowmass Village, Colorado, I house sat. And the guy, the 2 years I was there, he came a week and a half. He came for 3 days, and his daughters came for 3 days. They spent $2,000 on booze. They all got drunk, and they left 2 days later. And I was talking to the daughter, and she's like, yeah, my dad's got houses
All
name
over the
it.
place.
He had 3 in Colorado alone, like Cresta Butte, Snowmass Village, and he had a house on the other side to ski over there because he liked 2 different types of powder. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no.
It's that world when people get that famous, when they get that rich, when they get that to the point where they live in some sort of weird la-la land.
He had a brand new Jeep delivered every year. And part of my agreement was I had to drive it like 50 miles a month to make sure, because when he came to town, he didn't want no problems with none of his houses.
Right.
So he had a different fucking house sitter at every. And if you know
Did he
anything.
do a background check on you?
No, listen to me. I fucking grandfathered into the house because my buddy from Jersey had it. And his girlfriend came out to visit and he knocked her up. But the guy was difficult to get a hold of because he was in England and whatnot. So my friend just said to me, just move in, don't say dick. And when he comes in, he'll see it's you and tell him I had to leave and shit. Keep my deposit. So I stayed there for like 2 months and he came and he's like, who the fuck are you? And I told him what had happened and that we couldn't get a hold of him because he was in England. And he asked me for a couple names. I had already lived in Snowmass for about a year. I left and then came back. So I had a couple nice references for him. He gave me the thing and then left. And I was not allowed in his home. So part of the deal was I had an apartment over the garage. I could use his car. And it was 18 hours a month of either shoveling snow or 18 hours a month of work. So it was essentially shoveling snow in the winter and mowing the lawn in the summer. He would give me little assignments like paint the wall or whatever. I would keep the trim up and shit, but it was 0 rent. I think he paid me $800 a month. And I got to get a day job and ski and shit like that. Did I ever tell you I was a volunteer fireman?
You a volunteer fireman?
Because, all right, so cocaine was $1,800 an ounce at the time in Snowmass. My buddy said get it to me for $800 in Jersey. So I would go back and forth, and I was making all this dough on it. The people found out. The guy that they blew up, they put a pipe bomb in this guy's car, and they blew him up. His name was Stephen Graybo. He left a big gap in this fucking drug place. So I was
They kill him?
Oh, yeah, they killed this poor bastard.
In Colorado?
In Aspen, 36 days before he was to stand trial. They could never get him for cocaine. He was making $6 million every 6 weeks. I spoke about this on here.
$6 million
every 6 weeks. In 1984. They arrested him the first time in 83. They brought him to Denver. They found $9 million altogether cash. Then in 84 was when he went, every night he'd work out. He was a good-looking dude that kept in shape. He had 20 different cars, and every night he'd give the guy at the door $5 to start the car. The night the guy took the night off, he started his own car. They put a pipe bomb in his car and blew him up. Whoa. He lived. He made it all the way to the hospital, but something went so deep up his ass that he had just bled to death. So it left this gap. So this guy approached him, and then he's like, man, these people are mad at you. They want to do business with you. You're cutting them out. So I had to talk to them, and they said, listen, for you to buy, we never do a face-to-face. So they have an Aspen Club, and they have a place called see if the Aspen Club is still, in those days, these places were $1,000 a month to walk in. And I knew a girl that used to go to the Aspen Club, and she used to tell me she used to take showers right next to Barbie Benton. Remember Barbie Benton? And then Barbie Benton had a beautiful bush. She would tell me every night, Barbie Benton's got a beautiful fucking bush. It's perfect. So there's the Aspen Club and the Snowmass Club. Snowmass Club has golfing, condos around the thing. It was like $900 a month to be a member. I couldn't have been a member, so the only way I could become a member was by being a volunteer fireman. Then they'd give you admission in. So for 90 days, I had to train. Go up 2 flights of thing on a ladder, carry a rope. But basically, it was putting out, when tourists come, they don't know how to fucking turn on a fireplace. So they clean out the showers and they put them in, and then these people would put them in the dumpster. So 10 out of 10, all you're doing is dumpster fires. That's all you're doing. But you got access to the Snowmass Club. So basically, all you had to do was walk into the Snowmass Club, give the girl the $10,000, put on your gym clothes, work out, and by the time you got back to your locker, the coke was in the locker. It was all in. They were all in.
Everybody was involved.
Everybody was involved.
So the girl that worked she was getting a piece?
Whoever knew. All you had to do was, hi, how you doing, Joey? Yeah, okay.
Wow.
And then later on, I'd go in the locker. The coke would be there. I'd get like a half, 8 ounces. I was no dealer, and I'd take it home. But then I started getting coked up, and every time there was a fire, I went to like 2 fires. And they were both dumpsters, and there's 16 idiots with a fire hose. I'm like, is this necessary? They even gave me like a little fire truck, like a little Toyota truck with like a bell on it to go to the fires. After like the 3rd fire, I stopped showing up. For 2 months, they go, where are you? 0 to base, where are you? Listen, I'm snorting coke, getting my dick sucked. You want me to go put out a fire in a dumpster? Go fuck yourself. They came over and took the dumpster. And then I went to work for this other dude. Dick, there was 3 Dicks. The guy I worked for was Dick Self, Dick Kelly, and Dick Doon was the mayor. So I had a buddy who used to go, you're surrounded by Dick. Dick. So Dick Kelly had one of those snow companies, and they wanted me to go and, I don't know what they call Joe Rogan, so straighten me out. It's a high-low that shovels snow.
What's a high-low?
A high-low in a warehouse. Zzz,
oh, okay,
and it
like
picks
a little
up shit.
small truck that pushes snow around.
So he was another poor bastard that made a mistake and hired me that winter. And I had to be there at 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning, I'm on my 2nd gram of blow. He'd be in front of my house beeping, bam, bam, bam. I would tell him to go fuck himself. I'm not working tonight. He came and took his truck. I was on a roll up there. I was on a fucking roll. For
guys who plowed snow, guys who had snow trucks, when it would snow out, man, that was it. You weren't getting any sleep. There was a bunch of guys that I knew.
In Colorado also?
No, Boston.
Oh, in Boston. Yeah, that's a business. It's a business in the wintertime. As soon as you hear snow,
big business.
Those people start fucking getting happy.
And people would look out their window with their coffee, making sure you're out there with the truck up the driveway, pushing snow around. My buddy Jimmy, he had that was one of his side businesses. He was an electrician. The side business, he had a plow on his pickup truck. And he would just fucking plow people out, do people's driveways.
I went home this year, March 20th. I went home to Jersey. I had to do a show one nighter in Nyack. And me and Ari hooked up in the city. We ate an edible. We walked around the city in the snow. It just started to snow, you know. And by the time I got up the next morning, it snowed like a foot. I'd never seen anything like that. Like when I was a kid in Jersey, if it snowed, that shit was there. Like that shit stayed for 4
Stayed there.
days. There was no school.
Stacked up on the side
Stacked
of the
up
road.
on the sidewalk. Now,
Dirty snow.
bro, my town won't let a fucking ounce of snow land. Not an inch.
Really?
They're fucking tremendous. That night, the roads were clean. The East Coast. I'll never forget how, when I left Jersey in '83, like if it snowed, like let's say if it snowed, and I had to take the bus up here, I would just call you and say, Joe, it's snowing, and you'd expect me at 11. And, you know, everything was late. Whenever it snowed in Jersey, here's this big metropolitan area, New York City, and it snowed and it crippled the city. They didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Newspapers wouldn't come. People get pissed off. The New York Post. And I remember moving to Snowmass and getting a job at Aspen Electric. And that meant I had to get on a bus in Snowmass, go to the bottom of the hill, transfer, and shoot the bus to Snowmass. I did this, and I remember the first time I woke up one day, and, you know, in Colorado, you wake up one morning, there's 12 inches, it's just another day. Just another day. And I remember in 1983, they couldn't fucking clean up New York. But I'll never forget that morning, waking up in Aspen like at 6:30 in Snowmass and going, they're not going to expect me till about 10. And I walked in there at 10, and people were like, where the fuck have you been? And I'm like, it snowed out, the buses are running late. And they go, everybody else here came on a bus, and they all got here on time. They fucking busted me right out. Like, Colorado was that far ahead of the game.
Well, they're just so used to it.
They were so, but like here I was living in this big metropolitan city.
Right.
That 4 inches crippled.
In Colorado, did they throw down salt?
They throw down something, yes. They throw down something because when you wash your car in Colorado, they push to do the underwater carriage, the prevention, because rust travels fast in Colorado.
In Boston, too, that's salt. Salt they put on
The
the road.
salt puts on them.
But you'd buy old cars, and in the fenders, you know, in the back of the fenders, like at the corner, that's where the salt would pile up, and you'd always have rust there. You'd always have like these big pockets of rust in the corner. Like
Is that from rock salt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why California cars, everybody always wanted a rust-free California car. If you were buying a muscle car, like an older, you know, hot rod, you'd find a rust-free California car. Oh, California, don't have any salt. The big thing was salt. Destroy cars. Destroy the frame. Destroy everything. That's salt. Get up in there, and just sit there, and just rot away the metal.
You got to take the metal, buff it out, edge it out, and then you would have to spray Rust-Oleum on it. And then you would have to, because I would see the guys in Colorado, how they would fix the cars. And they would take like a missing bumper, cut it strategically, weld it in, and then you buffed that in, you colored, you buffed.
Yep.
You kept putting primer on it, and that's how they got the rust out of all those cars in Colorado.
Well,
I forgot about Jersey.
A lot of body work, man. A lot of East Coast cars had a tremendous amount of body work. If you wanted a constant job fixing cars, body work was always good. Not just because of accidents, but also just because of rust work.
Now, is the rust a product of the humidity also on
Sure.
the East Coast?
Has
Because
something to do with
Colorado
that.
wasn't that humid, and I
Right.
would see a little bit of rust from the...
Yeah, Colorado, you're getting it from moisture. You're getting it from salt. I'm sure if they salt the roads. But the East Coast, you're definitely getting more. You know, there's a variety of factors that cause cars to rust out, older cars. But if you can find an old rust-free car, you know, that is like, that's what everybody wants. You know, you find a 1968 Camaro that's rust-free, like, whoa. You know, it's a beautiful thing about Corvettes. They didn't rust. They were made out of fiberglass. So you get an old Corvette, most of the bodies were pretty good if it wasn't cracked. It wasn't damaged because they didn't rust.
I remember cutting myself on one of those fiberglass Corvettes one time. My leg or something, I ran past them.
It's broken.
This is the 70s, right?
They had them in the 70s.
Yeah, the
My
70s.
65's fiberglass. My 65 Corvette, that thing's fiberglass.
Why did they fiberglass them? To make
Make
them
it lighter.
Lighter, right.
And because they can make cooler shapes. If you look at a 1965 Corvette, that shape is
Let me look at
fantastic.
it. Let me look at it.
Pull up mine.
I think I have an idea how it looks like. It looks like a Sportster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one, the 65. Yes.
The fenders have curves to them. Everything has curves. It's like such a curvy car. And if you had to do that all by banging out metal, and there's mine. Like,
Yeah,
look at the
right, right,
fucking
right.
humps and the curves in that thing. Just the fenders alone. Like, there's so much. That's when I had my gross old wheels. Ugh. I got rid of those stupid wheels. But the shape of those things, man. I mean, they could do that with metal, but there's so many complicated curves to it. Just the curve of the door to the fender, the back fender, and
Now,
they
you're a
fucking-
fan of the car.
Oh, I love
How
that
does
car.
this car compare as a drive?
That's not a real. I mean, if you drove a regular 1965 Corvette, they're sloppy, their suspension's sloppy, the brakes are dog shit.
Oh, this one here?
That thing's not a regular. That thing's what's called a resto mod. So what that is a 1965 Corvette, but it has a 2007 Corvette engine in it that's supercharged, and then it has an entirely modern suspension. Everything is modern. Coilovers, modern brakes, big-ass Corvette brakes, big fucking fat wide tires with sticky rubber on them. That thing doesn't handle anything like an old car. That thing handles like a new car, as much as you can get a car like that to handle like a new car.
How much do you drive it?
I drive that fucker all the time. I take it to the store all the time. You ever seen me take that thing to the store? You should go for a ride with me. It's so fun.
I don't think I'd fit in one of those fucking
He's
things.
fitting
They were
that.
made for more people.
You'd fit.
And
You'd
65,
fit.
they're for fucking things, you know.
No. You'd fit in that
Remember when
thing.
Tony Soprano trying to get in Johnny Sacks? What's the Italian car line? Lamborghini?
Oh, did he have Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Ferrari or
Maserati?
something. Maserati,
I don't
one.
remember. Yeah. And he couldn't fit in
He
it.
couldn't fit in it and shit. They didn't make those for skinny Italians. That fucking...
Yeah, but those, when you're making a car out of fiberglass.
You know, it's pretty weird, just to go back to that lady that quit high school when she was 16, that she was one of the most wealthiest people in the world. Like one of
The
most-
Chinese lady?
Yeah, whatever her name was, we pronounce it wrong. It's so weird how much stock we put into high school. Mm-hmm. How much stock is really in high school? Like right now, you have children. I don't know about high school. Like I don't know. I don't know about high school still, and I don't know. I've met so many people who have quit high school that have done better with their lives. I thought when I quit high school, I was done. I was fucking done. That was one of the worst points in my life. I remember I was going to get a tattoo. I wanted to get like an Ozzy Osbourne has Ozzy on his fingers. I was going to get Coco on both fingers, C-O-C-O. And I remember walking up there that day and going, you know what, bro? So wait a second. I'm going to get an Ozzy or Coco tattoo on my fingers, and I'm going to quit high school? Like, what am going to be my chances of really doing anything? Like, I already quit high school, and now I'm going to put tattoos on my fingers. I'm never going to do anything with my life. That's why I chickened out from tattoos, you know.
Because you're afraid you're going to be a loser?
In 1982, a tattoo was not a work of art. A tattoo was you went to jail,
Yeah.
you killed somebody.
Oh,
See?
hey,
But he had that in
motherfucker,
69.
hey.
He's had that in 69.
Yeah.
He was cooler than fuck. He was Ozzy Osbourne. I wasn't no Ozzy Osbourne.
Right.
I was just some fucking drugged out criminal.
Yeah.
But I knew that if I quit high school and put C-O-C-O, I was doomed for life. Like on both hands, I was going to be doomed. This is a true story, bro. Like I remember
believe
still
you.
walking to the tattoo place. It was in Cliffside Park. And how much weight they put on high school. And like I quit high school my junior year. Was I good at it? Yes, I was very good at it. I was very good at school. I just had to quit school because of necessity. I had no parents. You know, I had to quit fucking high school, you know. And it's so weird how many people over the years I've read. And the only reason why I got my GED, let me tell you something. I refused to get my GED. Because if I would have failed my GED, I would have killed myself. Like if you quit high school and then fail your GED, you're really doomed for life. I didn't even want to know about the GED thing. But when I got arrested, you got to have a GED because you get an extra point to your sentence thing. Like this is a variable that adds to you not going to prison for that long. So if you get arrested and you don't have a GED and you're not working at the time of your arrest, this all counts towards your sentencing guidelines. So the only reason why I took that GED fucking thing, because I was petrified of taking it, Joe Rogan. Because once you fail your GED, there ain't no coming back. So I got tattoo on my fingers. I fucking quit high school, and I fucking failed the first GED thing. Like, I would have died. Like, I studied hard for my GED. I bought the fucking thing. I took a night class with a bunch of people who didn't speak English. I studied hard. I passed my GED with flying colors. But it's so weird how they put such a stress on it when I was growing up. And I know tons of kids that sophomore year said, my father owns a fucking mechanic garage, or we have a fruit company, or my father's in the stock market and he's getting me a job. And I know these kids today, and they're doing fine. I just saw one in West Palm Beach that he was one of the first guys to quit school. And I was like worried about him. Like, ugh, how the fuck do you quit school? He's doing fine. He's rich as fuck now.
Well, quitting an education, like quitting learning, is what's really scary. Quitting school. The problem with school is like standardized education, right? The education that they would like you to get is you go through school, you get out of high school, you go to a good college, you get a degree, and then you go to graduate school, and then you're a real success. But there's a lot of people that did that there was no job for them. They have graduate degrees and they're not doing well, and it's not a guarantee, and especially in this weird fucking economy. The problem with a guy like you or a problem with a guy like me is that we're never going to have regular jobs. It was never going to work. We're too fucked up for whatever reason. We're both fucked up for different reasons.
Bro, I quit every fucking job.
Every job. I've never had a job that
4 days. I was like, what am I doing? I could sell an 8-ball and make $50. I gotta wash dishes. Like, I washed dishes for 4 months.
But nobody recognized that you had the potential to be an entertainer. Nobody ever says, like, you could be an entertainer. You're a funny, entertaining guy. Nobody ever brings that up as a viable job option. Meanwhile, it's obviously a giant job option. All of our friends that are like you or I, that are comics, they were all fuck-ups in high school. They all barely made it through whatever job they had. They hated every second of it, and they all thought they were losers. That's one thing we all have in common. We were all worried that we were going to be a loser. But none of us had someone who said, hey, Joey, you're fucking funny, man. You could be a comic. Try being a comic. Go to an open mic night. Give it a shot. You know how much comics make a weekend? A comic headline at a club in the weekend might make $1,500. You'd be like, what? $1,500 for telling jokes? Like, yeah, $1,500. And you'd be like, that is crazy. And you talk about what regular people are making, busting their ass all week. You could just show up on a Friday, do 2 shows on a Friday, 2 shows on a Saturday, 1 show on Sunday. You'd make $1,500. You'd get home, and a lot of times it was cash. You'd be like, how do I do this job? Well, you got to start off as an open mic night. You got to become an apprentice.
It's so weird how I could look you in the face and tell you something I knew my freshman year in high school. You ready?
Yeah.
I knew one thing for sure.
What?
I did not want a day job.
No job. Me too.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I wanted a job.
But not a job where you sit in an office.
No. There was no day job in my future. I was either going to be a bartender, a waiter. I was going to work in a warehouse there was a company, White Rose in Secaucus. It was a frozen warehouse where you just got lobster tails and shit, and you had to wear like bundled up. They paid you $22 an hour.
Yeah.
They gave you $1,000 every 90 days to buy clothing. Like, I was set to do that. I had no problem with working 9 to 6. I knew one thing about my life, that I was not taking a day job, because the people I grew up around, my mother did not have a day job. My mother went, opened the bar at 9, set the bar up, beer, boom, and by 10:30 she was in Harlem picking up this, going to a Met game, eating Chinese food. She didn't go back till 7 o'clock at night. Then she worked till 3. I had no problem with working. My first big job was bartending from 5 to 1 in Manhattan. I just knew that my days were mine. I liked that. I wanted to be opposite everybody else. I wanted you to leave the fucking house when I walked in. I'm going to make my own eggs. I'm going to smoke a joint. I'm going to watch TV for an hour, sleep till 2, get up, lift weights.
Independence.
That's what I want. Yeah. I did not want a day job.
Some people want the opposite. Some people's personalities that they want to go somewhere where someone tells them what to do. They want to sit in a very safe, structured environment and do boring shit.
There's a company in my town named APA, Anthony Imperatora. When I was a kid, APA fed everybody. The deal was you went down there, 1982, let's say. It was $17.50 an hour. So you shaped. Did you ever shape?
What's that mean?
Shape is you just go down there and they look at you like Marlon Brando, and on the waterfront, you stand there like a fucking moron, and they come up to you. We need 6 people tonight. You look pretty strong. You, and there's 30 people against
They call
the wall.
it shape?
Shape up work. You got to go sign up at the hall. So if you're a longshoreman, all that shit, if you don't have work, you go do shape up work. So you just go down there and wait for your badge number to be called, and then they give you work. So I used to work at APA as a shape guy. So you go down to APA, right? And the first night Joe Rogan picks me, he sees I'm a fucking mule. I'm a mule. Like, you ain't gonna break me. The shift started at 7, and it went till 6. But sometimes at 6, a load of fucking Volkswagen engines came in. And here you are with another fucking gorilla picking up Volkswagen engines. So what I used to do was, you couldn't work more than 6 days a month or they had to put you in the union. So I would work APA, white truck, whatever. There was 3 different companies that you could shape for. So what you did was, to get into the union, was once I found out Joe was cool and Joe knew I worked, I threw Joe a yardstick. I threw you 100, so I had guarantee 2 days a week work, which is still $18 an hour plus overtime. So I did shape-up work. And then if you completed like 12, if they made a mistake and they gave you 12 days in a month, now they had to hire you full-time. And your life changed forever. APA, that guy in Parator that owns, you know what he owns now? The fucking ferry. Like the ferry that goes back to New Jersey, back and forth from Jersey to New York City, that's in Parator. He didn't stop growing. But when we were kids, his facility, he took such care of his employees. His gym, when the New York Nets went from Long Island to New Jersey, that's where they practiced the first year. That's how good in the 70s his gym was. Like, if you loaded trucks, you were allowed to use that gym. He already had shit that nobody had. He had fiberglass backboards. He had water weights. He had shit that nobody had, like, at that time.
Wow.
But my point being that was what I had in high school, that I could do shape-up work. And I could still make a living, and eventually somebody was going to hire me. I was going to work like a fucking mule, but I'd still be making, $1,500 a week when you're in 1980, which wasn't bad.
It's a lot of money back then.
Which wasn't bad. Those are the guys that buy the boats and they go to Atlantic City and they can wear white shoes on the weekends.
No
they
socks.
make more than everybody else, because you'd made great money down there.
Yeah.
So you shape. You could also do that as a longshoreman. You go down to Newark and stay there, and then after 15 days, they pick you up in the union. They'll charge you $5,000 for a book, which means that you get $5,000 to get into the union, but you got benefits the rest of your life, and insurance and a pension.
Yeah, and you realized that you weren't going to work in a cubicle.
I did not. I knew that, but I liked that night loading shit. You don't know how many nights I walked home on Route 3 with no money. How many days after loading a truck all night, walking home on Route 3, because I didn't have enough money for the bus. I just had enough money for, like, breakfast. And I would walk up and get breakfast at a diner, and I'd go wherever I was sleeping and fucking go to sleep. I didn't know anything. Comedy didn't come into my radar till a month before I went to prison. A month before I got locked up, a month before I got arrested for the crime, never mind prison. There was a salesman they hired, and we did not get along, me and him as a car salesman. He was American Indian, a piece of him was American Indian, and he even had that Charles Bronson look in his eyes. And one day, me and him got into a beef over a customer. He said the customer's was his and it was mine, and me and him banged it up face to face, and they had to break us up. But about a week later, I was on the point. That means you're outside waiting for a customer to try to get a customer on point. And he came out and he goes, "Man, listen, I don't know what happened between us." His name was Brent. I'll never forget that man. If I was 25, he was about 40-something, 44, 45. And I had a fucking, I was doing drugs, and I had the tough guy mentality, and I banged, and I would never raise my hand to somebody old. I don't know why I went after him that day. But he came up to me, put out his hand. He goes, listen, man, I don't know nothing about nothing. But he goes, you know what I was doing for the last 20 years, right? And I go, no, I don't know anything about it. He goes, I was the entertainment coordinator for a casino in Las Vegas. And he goes, I don't know, man. You make me fucking laugh. And I remember shaking his hand going, thank you. Get the fuck away from me. I make you laugh. What are you, stupid? And he was telling me how I had a career in comedy, and I was listening to him. He said, you should really give it a try. I'm like, you're fucking crazy, stand-up comedy. I like Freddie Prinze. I like David Brenner. I love Richard Pryor, but I'm a fucking criminal. I can't do this shit. Not a month. And then I got arrested. And then when I came out, I didn't think about it. And then when I fucking came out for reals, there was a guy that lives in Pismo Beach now. And he used to talk to me about it. He goes, you ever consider stand-up comedy? And I would go, come on, dog. Leave me the fuck alone. I'm a drug addict. Fucking stand-up comedy. I didn't know stand-up comedy was about work. I thought that Joe Rogan just called the Comedy Store and said, have a camera there in 10 minutes. I'm going to be down, and you tape an hour. I didn't know that you had to work 18 months to get an hour of material.
If you're lucky and good.
What I thought. That's how fucking off I was.
Yeah.
I just thought that when I saw John Leguizamo, that he just went down there. That he just went down there and did an hour. That's what I thought for all that
people
time.
have weird perceptions of it. But, you know, the thing about it is that it's a possibility, and no one ever says that it's a possibility. It's not an easy possibility, but it's an option. But being a fucking physician is not an easy possibility either. But if you tell someone you want to be a doctor, they don't look at you like you're crazy. The amount of work is probably pretty similar. There's a lot of work involved in being a doctor. But it's a path that's been taken by many people. It's clearly established. You go through school, you go through medical school, you go through your residency. There's all these different steps that you have to take that everybody's really aware of. With a stand-up comedy career, no one who's, other than the people that have done it, no one knows what it is. You and I both know that in order to be, you know, say a physicist, you have to go through a certain amount of education. We you know, if you had, Tim's son, he's really smart. He wants to work for, SpaceX. Wants to build rocket ships. Like, oh, okay, that's a possibility. You can do that. You're really smart. You go to school. You get a good education. You follow through. You eventually, there's a path there. With comedy, like, no one knows that path other than people like you or I. People that have actually done that path and make a living doing it, we know it. But for everybody on the outside, it's like, what is that? And sometimes you need someone to come along and tell you. Like the guy who you were working with. For me, it was my friend Steve, Dr. Steve Graham. He was my friend when I was, he was telling me this when I was like 19. He's like, you're really funny. Like, you should be a comedian. I was like, I'm funny to you. I'm like, other people are going to think I'm an asshole. That's all I was thinking. Was that I wasn't big on public speaking. What got me into public speaking, honestly, what helped me was teaching. When I was teaching martial arts, I had to teach in front of all these people. Though I'd never spoken in front of groups of people, but I was really good at the time at teaching classes. I'd learned from my instructor, and there was a way to do it. I was very enthusiastic. Obviously, it was my life, so I was very intense about doing it. And I got used to speaking publicly in front of these large groups of people. But it was because I was speaking about something that I was good at. And then I would teach at Boston University, and when I would go there and teach the classes, I'd start off the classes, and I basically said to them, listen, you take this class, try hard, you're going to get an A. It's pass, fail, A. It actually counts for your GPA. So this is an easy A. I don't want you to be fucking Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan. You don't have to do that. I just want you to try. If you come here and try, you get an A. That's simple. And so I would, became friends with a lot of the kids because they were like my age. Some of them were even older than me. And I was teaching them. So that was how I got into public speaking.
When was the first time, I want you to think before you even answer, besides stand-up comedy, were you ever on a stage before that?
No.
Improv troupe in grammar school, a play in high school, a play in grammar school?
In college, I didn't do any. I don't think I ever did anything. Maybe if I did, I don't remember. But in college, I took a course on public speaking. It was like some sort of course where we would do like little play. It was terrible. The teacher was terrible. She was this short little lazy lady. She was so lazy. Like the way she would give classes was just, it was a continuing education program at UMass. She was just terrible. And there was the people in the class where it was very loosely organized. She didn't explain the lessons very well. And, we had to put together some little play. I remember it was me and this girl and this guy. We made some little funny play. We wrote it together. It was around the same age. I was probably thinking about doing stand-up. I was probably 19 or 20 at the time.
I always shunned from all that stuff. I was always embarrassed. And when I got thrown out of Catholic school in the 6th grade, I had this guy, Mr. Levito. And on Fridays, you had a choice to fucking go be part of the ecology club or hang out in the class. I don't know what made me. I was in love with Frankie Valli. All right? And my eyes adored you. So he would make me every Friday go up to the front of the class and put My Eyes Adored You on a record player, and I'd sing it. Like, not lip sync it. I'd really sing it because I really had a good voice growing up. I was in a band as a singer.
Were you? You were in a band?
Yeah, in the 6th grade.
You've done that fucking rock and roll show. What is
Yeah,
that? What is
yeah.
that show?
The
Josh
guy from
Adameyer's
Baltimore?
star?
Yeah, it was fun as fuck.
What is that show called?
Goddamn
Comedy Jam, yeah.
You've done that?
Yeah.
What'd you sing?
Killing in the Name of Love.
Oh, that's right. You did it recently.
Worst anxiety ever.
Did you?
Oh, my God. Singing and doing comedy is two different fucking worlds.
Did you have to learn the song and practice it?
Yeah, they wanted me to go to a rehearsal, but I couldn't go to a rehearsal that day.
So you had no rehearsal.
No rehearsal. I knew the song, and
There
it's
you go.
and it's not.
Play
Yeah.
this. Where is this being held at?
This is at.
This one was a couple years ago.
This is like a year and a half ago. I love music. I love all this shit. I just can't.
Whatever happened to Rage Against the Machine? What are they doing these days?
They all went in different directions. They're right now today. They're in that band with Be Real.
Be real.
Be Real's in the band with them. Public Enemy.
What?
They're all in the Renegades.
It's a super band.
Oh, it's a fucking tremendous super band.
What band is this? How do I not know about this?
Yeah, I've something of please don't come on, don't embarrass me now. I can't. Yeah, Sons of Rage or Somethings of Rage, and it's Tom Morello, the singer from Public Enemy, Be Real,
Chuck D?
Chuck D.
Wow. Is Flavor Flav in it?
I don't think so. I think they told Flavor you can't.
Is he still married to Stallone's ex-wife?
No, Stallone's ex-wife just had a baby with someone.
Prophets of Rage is what it's called.
Prophets of Rage.
Rage.
Who's in the band? I don't
Yeah, it's a couple of guys from Rage, Public Enemy, Cypress Hill.
Yeah, Stallone's ex-wife had a baby. She was
55.
185 years old.
Yeah.
How the fuck did she have a baby? She had the last egg. They found the last egg that was tucked up in a quarter. The fallopian tubes.
Listen, man, Mick Jagger's singing at 75. I guarantee you women have eggs a little longer now.
I wonder.
You just got to dig a little deeper. You got to dig deep, deep, deep in that little monkey. There's got to be, and Janet Jackson had one at 50, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in there. You just need a guy to give you a stabbing to generate everything at the
That
same
guy's going to
time.
be holding back a lot of loads. Just keep those loads for weeks. No jerking off, no nothing, no wet dreams for weeks. And then just release the hounds.
I mean, after 48, as a woman, after 48, from what I've read, 46, 47, your chances of the child having autism are very high. There's a lot of chances of a lot of little things going wrong.
Chances are with the male as well, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Over 50?
Yeah, with men, there's a bunch of factors, but one of the factors is also the age of the father. That's why you see more autistic kids these days than before, as people are putting off their having children and having careers later, and there's complications. It's one of the theories as to why there's more autistic kids. Another theory is that there's not more autistic kids. We're just better at diagnosing what the issue is with children than we used to be before. I say we very loosely, obviously. Brigitte Nielsen, look at that. So she had her first kid. This is her 5th. She had her first kid when she was young and vibrant, and the 5th kid when she's basically a monster.
God bless her.
God bless her.
God fucking bless her. 55, healthy
Crazy.
baby.
Good for her.
I know when my little girl was born, I kept looking at her eyes to
Is
see
that what her age was? 55?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I kept looking at my daughter's eyes to see if she was stoned. Because God knows how much THC was in my reefer when I shot that load of death. When I shot that stoner load.
It's kind of funny, man, when you just think about the window of time that you have to get pregnant and impregnate someone. Just to, you run. If you're running to someone and you haven't seen them in like 10, 15 years, and you see them and you're like, whoa, okay. Time is real. Just it wears on people. You don't think about it when you see people day in, day out. I see you all the time. You look the same to me. But if you don't see someone for 10, 15 years, you're like, oh.
Oh, wait till you look at a picture of yourself or
Oh,
you go to a
yeah.
hotel room.
Oh, yeah.
When you go to a hotel room, that mirror don't lie. The mirror at your house is a fucking bullshit artist. That motherfucker hides curves and hairs in your nose. You go to a Vegas and you walk past the mirror and you're like, ugh, what the fuck happened there? Yeah, age is a mother. I watch a tape of myself or something. I'm like, wow, man, I'm getting old. But
You become a monster.
Last week I fucking took a red eye to Cleveland. I get to Cleveland. It was the only direct flight. Now everything's fucking crazy. There's 2 direct flights a day to Cleveland. Everybody's got a flight, but it takes you 19 hours.
Right.
So my choices were to leave at 11 in the morning and leave a day earlier, which ain't happening, or take a red eye that night. And I took the red eye, and we landed at 6 in the morning, which is 3 LA time, which I'm never up past fucking 12:30 anymore. And I took a thing to the hotel, me and George Perez. And for a couple minutes, I was a little like, look at my fucking life. I'm 55, and I'm fucking taking a red eye to do Cleveland. And when I got into the hotel room, and I sat down, I sat at my computer, I'm like, how fucking lucky am I? I'm still doing spots at the fucking store. I'm still going out and doing weekends. I never dreamt of this past 48. And I'm 55 and headlining, having a great time and laughing my fucking balls off. We forget for a moment of time. What happened was the car didn't show. And I didn't even get pissed off. I just said, George, let's hop in the car. We walked 50 yards. There was a cab. And that was the end of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know why I told you that. I'm just thinking
Well,
about
it's perception. If you showed Brigitte Nielsen a photo of her today when she was 20 and said, you're going to look like this in 5 minutes, she'd probably freak out. She'd probably be terrified. But now that she's 55, she's like, that's what I look like. We all become J. Howard Marshall, Anna Nicole Smith's fucking husband. We're going to go this so much time. I mean, you don't stay beautiful forever. There's going to be an amount of time where your body just stops working right and your tissue starts to hang off your face, and it is what it is. And it's perception. A lot of it is perception.
You broke it down for me with Yoel Romero. Your genes. Look, you look somebody like, what's the girl we discussed 1,000 times? She was married to Richard Gere with the beauty mark. You said you saw her somewhere and she was still fucking beautiful. What's her name? Who was married to Richard Gere?
Cindy Crawford.
Cindy Crawford. Was it
Still
you that,
beautiful.
Was it
Yeah.
you that saw
Yeah.
her and said, you got to be kidding me.
I ran into her 6 months ago.
There's two
fucking
girls.
beautiful.
There's 2 girls in my high school that are on Facebook. They have not aged a year, and they both spit out kids, and it's
also how you take care of yourself.
It's the alcohol,
Yes. And whether or not you're happy.
the happiness, the alcohol,
Yeah.
the tobacco, the
Tobacco's
food.
a big one.
Listen, man, I was thinking about this, how it's so weird that once every 2 years, I don't know what, Joe Rogan, I hate being this person sometimes. I hate being this person. I like to have something going wrong. Like I still have that bug inside of me.
Self-sabotage. Yeah.
Still sabotage. So every once in a while, I go up to the comedy store and I see everybody drinking, and I see everybody doing everything else, and here I am with a fucking water like an asshole. I don't smoke at night when I drive because I can't see at night. You know what I'm saying? So I can't smoke. I can't get high. Sometimes I go in the back and I get high. So every once in a while I go, hey, Red Band or somebody, give me a fucking cigarette. And I smoke 5 fucking cigarettes, and I'll smoke for a week. Do you know that, Joe Rogan? I'll pack of cigarettes at 8 o'clock at night and smoke like a fiend and throw them out of the car on the way up the hill. Do you know how bad I feel the next day? You could see how bad fucking cigarettes are for you. And number 2 is alcohol. You know, you could see
Now, when
it,
you say this, like, how many cigarettes will you smoke?
like in one night,
Yeah.
12.
Really?
And I'll throw the other 8 away in the garbage.
Wow.
And then the other day,
That's a lot.
that's a lot because I'm a savage.
Like, when was the last time you did this?
About 2 months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
And you don't worry
And
it's
then I
gonna
didn't do it.
get you again?
And then, no. I could. All that shit is bullshit to me. Why do you think I said that shit to you last week about the Ambien? I wasn't fucking around with you trying to be cute. I do everything. I'm sober, but I do everything. I'm sober right now, but I do everything.
right,
I don't do
right.
coke. I don't do heroin. I don't do Oxycontins.
Right.
But on the road, people give you shit, and sometimes I put it in my pocket.
On the road, people give you shit.
Oh, people give me shit all the time.
You take the shit people give you?
All the time, dog. I just took some acid. Fucking somebody gave me blood acid, and I put it in the battery thing. I have like a shaver, and I took the blotter acid and put it in the battery thing, so it became like battery acid. And I called Lee, and I told Lee it was Wolfman Jack acid. He didn't know who Wolfman Jack was.
Wolfman Jack. There's a guy. Remember that guy?
That motherfucker went on an episode.
Radio guy.
He went on an episode of the Odd Couple one time, and Felix wanted some music published, and it was horrible. So Oscar was a friend of Wolfman Jack's, and he goes, "Man, let me give it to Wolfman Jack. Maybe he'll like it." And they're both outside the studio waiting for Wolfman Jack, and Wolfman Jack comes out with 2 freaks. He's got a weird look on his face. He's like, "Man, I dig noises. I dig yells in the night," but he goes, I haven't been this depressed in a long time. He goes, this was just bad. Now, if you don't mind, he goes, I got to come down off this battery acid I was drinking last night. So I've never forgotten that line as a kid. That Wolfman Jack, look at him.
Is he still alive?
No.
Oh, no, there's a lot of videos I didn't see.
See if he's still alive.
No, he died in 1995.
Wow, that was a long time ago. Oh, yeah, he was born in 38. Jesus Christ. Play that black and white video in the lower right-hand corner.
This one?
Yeah. Let me hear that. Give me some volume. Wolfman Jack. Is this going to get us kicked off YouTube?
It could.
Wolfman Jack at WNBC. Air check from August 1973. His first night at 66 WNBC, New York. First air check. First night. Wow, how weird. Give me a little, speed that up a little bit.
Should come in a second.
Boy, they had a lot of fucking theatrics back then. Before the guy even talks. Several minutes into the recording. What the fuck?
City, we gonna lay it down for you. Come on in there, get your soul together. All the way with WJazz. Get down. Told you once before.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe it got better as it went along.
No, it was a different world back then. All you had to do was have a big personality, be loud and crazy, and people got used to listen to a certain person on the radio. Radio personalities were a different thing, man. It's like you would become accustomed to listening to someone's voice, and that was the person you wanted to hear. I remember certain radio DJs, Charles Laquadera on the Big Mattress in WBCN in Boston. I'd listen to it every morning. Listen to it when I was delivering newspapers. He was the morning guy. And like every place would have a morning guy. And there's still a few of them out there. There's still a few morning guys out there. But, man, they're cutting those guys back. They're cutting those folks back. They're whittling away their budget, taking away their money. You know, they have to do personal appearance at Wild Wings and shit like that and fucking shoot T-shirts out of a cannon and all that nonsense. It's a dying institution. The radio world is a dying world. It's weird. It used to be everybody had a car radio. You listened to the radio. Drove around. What do we got on the radio? Oh, it's tune in. What's the good local stations? You'd find them. Listen to some good radio. Pff, that shit's gone now, man.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's crazy. It's gone.
I was never like a talk radio guy. I can't lie to you. Like a talk, people who listen to that talk sports and people call in. Fuck you.
They love it.
The Yankees should have beat one last night. It was a ref
Yeah.
job. That shit drives me fucking crazy. But by the way, congratulations to the Boston Red Sox. They were fucking tough. Tough. I don't watch baseball throughout the year. I don't have time. But the Cuban, once September comes, I love the art form, Joe Rogan. It's a beautiful. By the way, not only did I get left back and I got a GED, I'm the only Cuban that couldn't play baseball. I'm possibly the only Cuban that was the worst baseball player in the fucking world. Even my mother stopped going to the games. She was like, I can't. You just embarrassed the shit out of me. I was terrible. But during the playoffs, I watched that shit religiously.
Yeah.
And I talked to my uncle, and he fills me in. My uncle's tremendous. My uncle fucking knows. He's 80. He's been watching, he knows. So I'll get on the phone with him during the playoffs, and he'll be watching, and I'll talk to him. And he's ratting me off in Spanish. Look at the way he throws the ball. I mean, look at his finger, how it's whole. I mean, it's a different art. And Boston was just too tough this year, Joe Rogan. They had thieves. A baseball player with thieves, it's tough to play against them.
What do you mean, thieves?
That's why me and your old partner at the UFC with Tyke Goldberg were both Cincinnati Red fans.
What do you mean by thieves?
People who steal bases.
Oh.
People who steal bases, I love thieves because they don't let the pitcher get into a rhythm. They get into the pitcher's head and they start dwindling their arms. And now the pitcher's got to keep looking at his shoulder. And if you ever get a chance to watch an old Cincinnati Red ballpark, a good game, if I find one, I'll send it to you. And you watch the pitch. You know when the coach comes out and takes the ball from the guy, and the guy walks off and they call a reliever? With the Cincinnati Reds, the coach would come out and the pitcher would go, take this fucking ball. I never want to pitch again. Because Cincinnati was the king of bunting, getting on first, and then playing with your head, starting. Then they would steal second, then they would hit a single. The Cincinnati Reds won all those years with Pete Rose. Pete Rose wasn't a home run hitter. Pete Rose was a hitter. That means every time he came up to bat, you're going to have a problem. And him and Concepcion and Morgan and all those people, they were just single hitters. Those are the worst. At least with a home run, I know where I stand. But these motherfuckers that clobber you with singles and doubles, that's a different game. And then I'm stealing from you to really get down. Like I'm stealing second and stealing third. That's Sparky Anderson, that movie. I know you never watched it, but that's what it was about. The movie with Brad Pitt. He did about baseball.
Yeah, I never saw that.
That's a great movie because he explains to you that it's on-base percentage. All that other shit is bullshit. Like they're like, yeah, but this guy walks a lot. Did he get on base? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And that's and Boston played that same game. They're thieves. They steal. It was heart attack baseball. You couldn't watch it. If you bet the last 5 games, God bless you. God bless you. It's heart attack. I got back to my room in Cleveland at 2:30 in the morning. They were still playing. 2:30 in the morning, I went to bed. The Dodger game was still on. It's tremendous. This is the time of the year I love playoff baseball. When it starts in April, I don't know nothing. I don't watch none of that shit. None of that shit.
I played baseball when I was a kid.
Terrible.
I stopped doing it when I got into martial arts. I found out about Taekwondo because I was waiting for a Red Sox game, waiting for the tee to get home. And there was a big-ass line to get to the tee because the Fenway Park would let out. And walking back from Fenway Park to the train station, I saw the Taekwondo school. And I went up there, and there's this guy named John Lee, who was a national heavyweight champion, light heavyweight champion at the time. And he was about to go to the World Cup. And he was up there kicking the shit out of the heavy bag. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. I would hearing the sounds of it. I was walking up the stairs. I hearing whomp, chink, whomp, chink. And the whomp was him kicking the bag, and the chink was the chain as the bag would go flying through the air and slam against the chain. I was like, that is the craziest fucking sound. And I walked in there, and there was this guy who was just, at the peak of his physical power. He was just at his very best, and he was training for a world tournament. And just watching him do that was so terrifying, thinking, like, if someone kicked me like that, like what it would do to my body. And that's how I got into martial arts. Because before I wasn't into team sports, man. That's one of the reasons why I got into wrestling. I'm like, at least wrestling, it's me against that guy. I hated team sports. I hated the fact that we were losers because little Billy dropped the ball. I'm like, I didn't play for the team either. Like, they would tell me, all right, Rogan, go try to get a single. I'd be like, yeah. Get the fuck out of here. I swung, I either got a home run or I struck out every fucking time I was at bat. Because I got a home run once, and I was like, oh, that is so much better than getting a single. You could suck dick for the rest of your life for singles. I don't give a fuck about a single. I felt bad if I got on base and I got a single. Because I connected once, crack, and that ball went, I could hit pretty hard. And that ball went fucking flying. And it went into the stands, and I was like, oh, this is what it's about. It's about doing that. It's the only thing that's any good about this stupid fucking... That and catching balls. So many cracks went out there, and you catch it. That's pretty fun.
I could never even hit a ball. Like, I never hit a ball in my life. I used to bunt or strike out or make an excuse. Like, I was just terrible at baseball. I just had nothing for it. When I went to Miami, I used to go to Red Berry's baseball camp in the summers. Just for a week. It was a week camp that you went to. I didn't like it. Basketball was my shit.
Yeah?
Basketball,
Were you good?
I love. Real good. Real fucking good.
Really?
Real good. Went to 5-star basketball camp with Harvey Garfinkel.
Do you play anymore? You ever fuck around?
My shoulders are so bad that, my shoulders
How bad are
over
they
the
now?
years that I can't do a jump
But
shot.
you're doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but I can't. You can't get me in an Americana. Like, you can't. I tell people, don't Americana me. You could Kimura me.
They're that bad.
Yeah. Like, I have to
Really?
go for physical therapy pretty soon.
Do you ever get them MRI'd?
I should, but listen, you got to pick your battles in today's insurance world. So they're to the point where I could lift, I could go to kickboxing, I could hold a microphone, I'm fine.
Right.
I'm fine for right now. My right knee is fucked up. That's going to have to do something soon. But for right now,
What's wrong with it?
it never fixed. I think when I was doing physical therapy, I rehurt it after the surgery. It never
What kind of surgery did you get? You get a meniscus?
meniscus, arthritis, that whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'll go back in there again and let it all cleaned up. No, I love basketball, but I also loved martial arts growing up. I loved the whole thing of doing forms and practicing. And
They can do some fucking tremendous shit with stem cells right now, Joey. They could fix all your problems, I bet.
you
Fix
think my
your
shoulders?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, my shoulder's fixed. They fixed it.
How flexible are you? Let me see you grab your hands and do that shit where you go all the way back and you do all that shit.
Oh, yeah. I can do everything.
Grab them and go over. Can you do that shit?
What do you mean?
Like, there's people who could grab them at my kickboxing place and go all the way over. They couldn't
Grab
believe.
them and go all the way over? What do you mean?
Yeah, like they do something fucking different. Like, I don't.
Oh,
fucking,
you saying like do this and go all the way back?
Yeah. Oh no. I know what they do. They take the broom.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
go that way all the way back.
Yeah, I can
I'm
do
done.
that.
I'm done.
You know what else is real good for you? Hanging. Just hanging. Just grab a hold of the bar, chin up bar, and just hang from it. Super good for your shoulders. Stretches them out, releases impingements. It's good for the joint.
Okay.
Yeah. Just go out there to my little gym area out here. Just stretch out.
Bro, listen,
hang
I
to a
never got the
bar.
President's Award either because I couldn't do a pull-up.
You don't have to do a pull-up.
You understand me?
Pull-ups
I
are
could
great
never
for
do a
jiu-jitsu,
fuck- I
though.
could
You
never
can still,
do-
to this day, can't do one? No?
Never do a pull-up. Even when I was 180 with lifting weights.
Really?
With strength guys.
You couldn't do a pull-up when you were 180? That doesn't even make any
I
sense.
don't know what the fuck it was. when I moved to Snowmass Village, my roommate was from Brown, and he had another brother, and they had another friend, and they had trained under this guy named Ira Wolf, where I grew up. Ira Wolf went to the Olympics to be a trainer, and these, except for one guy, two of these guys are still alive, and these guys did not believe in traditional lifting. They believed in slow motion heavy lifting. 10 count on the way down and a 10 count on the way up.
A lot of guys still believe in that.
And the strength doubles, like your strength doubles, like the strength, it's slow motion.
You know who's really into that? Einstein. You know Eddie's black
Yeah.
belt, Scott Epstein?
Yeah.
He's really into slow-mo training. He was always into
Slow motion lifting.
Yeah.
These guys were really fucking into it. And today, the one guy we were talking a while ago, he has no injuries. Mm-hmm. All that, like They switched me. When I was doing behind the necks, in front of the necks, they're like, you're wasting your time. Just do squats, cleans. What's the other one they do? That gets your fucking traps ginormous. You just get 130.
Cleans and presses.
Just the first one.
Cleans,
Don't even
yeah.
press it. Just the first clean. Don't even press it.
Right.
All that shit I like.
Oh, cleans are tremendous.
Yeah, I love all that shit. In fact, I went back to a straight bar. I've been using the straight bar again
Yeah?
lately. Yeah, I like the straight bar. I've been squatting.
You were doing kettlebell classes for a while too, right? Weren't you?
Yeah, but the problem with the kettlebell is that if you read that guy's book or anything about Pavlov, he says that the kettlebells, I don't even know if that's his name.
Pavel Tatsulini.
It's supposed to be like a
Tatsulini.
20 to 18, 15-minute workout, kettlebells.
Yeah.
What they do is the new CrossFit community has taken kettlebells, and you're just hurting people. Kettlebells are done for you to feel good and to enhance a different workout. Like when I do kettlebells, thank God for On It, I combine it with a club wall workout. Mm-hmm. Alberto Crane taught me how to do swings with club bats, where you turn your insides of your wrist so everything turns. So I burn a lot of fascia on my shoulder because I do it that way. So when I do a kettlebell workout, I incorporate it with the bats from On It. Mm-hmm. And I do it like a circuit training. There's a straight one, all this, and even with that, even because before I went to physical therapy, I wanted to try the club bats because they have all the weight on the end and it helps pull that shoulder all the way the fuck down. Like for me to do anything, I got to stretch my shoulder before and after really deep. I got to go against the wall. I go underneath. Remember the guy I brought on, Alberto Galazzi. I do a lot of his little warm-ups.
He's got great workouts.
Even right now, On It's got that Kettlebell 6, Kettle 6, where it's a transformation. They got some great stuff on it. The guy sent it to me at the beginning. They call it something else instead of warm-up. They call it something else. The guy's name is not Josh Wolf. John Wolf? John Wolf. Good.
He's fantastic.
Fantastic.
The thing about clubs is that they're not that heavy, but they're odd. So like you're holding on to the end of it, but the weight is at the other end, and it's this long thing. So it's very awkward, and you could get a really good workout with 15 pounds. I mean, you really can.
That's all I use, 15 and 10. I got a 5 from On It to break my wrist. You get a 5, and you could really break the fascia on your wrist with the 5. They have an exercise that you go over and twist.
We got a full set of them out here if you ever want to use
tremendous. So that's what I was doing wrong. The kettlebell class, why am I swinging the gorilla? Why am I swinging the fucking gorilla?
Why are you swinging the gorilla?
I don't know. And then you turned me on to Steve Maxwell's 35 pound. So now I do 35 and 44 pound. Mm-hmm. I love Steve Maxwell stuff. So I keep Steve Maxwell. And then you were the one, I called you at the last dilemma, and you were like, well, let's do it. So now I do 3, 3, and 3, and I'm out of there.
Oh, yeah.
I do 3 Turkish get-ups, 3 fucking sets of cleans, and 3 swings.
Just do it a few days a week.
Yeah. Listen, if I'm on the road, most hotels now have kettlebells.
Really?
Most hotels are starting to come around. I go to a hotel, I check in, I go up, I roll a joint. I go downstairs, I smoke, and on the way back, I check by the gym. If I see kettlebells, I'm very happy. But I keep it to that. 3, 3, and 3, because over 50, it should just be 3 days a week. It takes a lot for you to recuperate.
Well, it's
50.
also you can get in more reps over the week. That's really what you want. If you do a lot of reps in one day, the problem is you're destroyed afterwards. But if you do the same amount of reps over the course of 5 days, just do shorter workouts and do many of them, you don't ever get destroyed. Your body's fine. You do all the other things you do too, and I think you become more consistent with it. You don't get worried about getting destroyed.
I do 2, 2, and 2. I do 2 kickboxing, Muay Thai conditionings, 2 jiu-jitsus. You know what my jiu-jitsu incorporates? My jiu-jitsu incorporates the class, doing the technique, and 3 5-minute rolls. After that, I get up and walk away, because anything after that is I'm defeating the purpose.
Right.
I hit the Novathor bed twice a week, especially on Sundays.
The what?
The Novathor bed.
What is that?
The Novathor bed is the one I told you about the last time. I think they sent you some information because we were discussing it last time. It's the red light therapy.
Oh, okay.
I get in the Novathor bed twice a week.
Are you saying it right?
Novathor, yes.
Novathor?
Bed, look it up. And
Okay.
I get in the Novathor bed twice a week, especially on Sundays to take all the oxidation out.
That thing right there?
Yes.
Thinner, fitter, healthier, happier.
And then I go into cryotherapy 2 or 3 times a week. So what I did was I shortened my workout, and I could do it more often. Me going to a jiu-jitsu class and fighting Eddie to the death
Right.
does nothing for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to improve.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to be able to roll for 3 or 4 more days now.
Yeah, that's the thing is recovery.
I really
Recovery
went
and not
online
breaking your
and read
body
after
down.
50. And number one, you got to over 50 strength.
Strength.
Oh,
Huge.
God. That's
yeah, you have to.
because that sarcopenia will fucking kill you, and that's when you start getting hunchy, and we all become our grandfather. And when you do stand-up, it's you just got to be stronger. So I went back. I meet these guys twice a week, and we pack it on. I don't even know what you put on there because it gives me anxiety. And we open up with a squat to really get the system into a fucking frenzy. There's no jumping jacks. There's no bench. We open up
You
with...
warm up first?
I would do a little warm-up, and the first 2 sets, I see the fucking devil. It's on a stopwatch. There's no sets. It's on a stopwatch.
What do you mean?
So he'll go 4 hours, 4 minutes, go.
So 4 minutes of squatting?
I'm squatting.
4
3
straight
minutes. 3 minutes of
That's
squatting.
a lot of time squatting.
But it's 10 seconds up, 10 seconds back. The last
Mm-hmm.
2, I'm seeing the devil. I'm thinking about getting a heart attack, my whole thing. And then right from there, I go to a pull-down machine. Right from there, I go to a back twister. It's really weird how he does it, but I'm out of there in 22 minutes.
That's a good workout. I mean, getting
22 minutes.
physical strain, lifting some weights, getting that bone density, tightening up all the muscle groups.
And the Maluk stick works. That's the most important thing. I don't end up on NBC doing commercials for ED commercials. You don't want ED,
Maluk
you got to get the
stick.
Maluk stick.
And that's from lifting weights?
Bro,
sure.
since day one.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody tells you. Give me an old guy that's lifting a little lightweight 3 days a week. He's doing it for his Maluk stick. All that shit they sell, what is it, GNC
Yeah.
with Frank Thomas. Hi. And it's good for your lady, too. That shit don't work.
Those Frank Thomas are a bunch of thirsty white people hanging out with
Oh,
him.
those commercials are the worst.
We've played those commercials 30 times. on
Hey,
the show.
Frank, how are you? I'm
What's all
fine.
these ladies going, I wish you would do that, Mike.
Yeah. And
Frank's
meanwhile,
so
Frank's a
sexy.
fat fuck.
He's
You know
a
what
little-
I'm saying?
he's a little
He's a little
overweight.
overweight and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing this. That GNC shit don't work. You want to keep the Maluk stick up? Oatmeal? They did a study on this. I did a study. I did an independent study to see what works the most. Oatmeal with coconut milk in that motherfucker, and some deadlifts and some squats. You'll be stabbing
Well,
people till you're
For
90.
sure, those things elevate testosterone and increase your hormone levels. That's for sure. Deadlifts and squats are the kings of exercise. Those are so important because they work your whole chain. They work everything. They work
Dolce loves
everything.
the fucking deadlift. Dolce, me and him.
Well,
we-
everybody does. Find me
After
somebody
I
that
read
does.
his book, that's when I went to the Y one day, and I started light. I got a coach the first time to go over the basics with me, and then like 3 weeks later, I thought I was Mike Dolce, and I went in there and did a set of 5 deadlifts, bro. I could feel it in my central nervous system. It really does hit your central. Like you just feel like this fucking
Well, your
weird
body
feeling.
realizes, oh Jesus, this crazy fuck it needs us to lift weights. It needs us to carry heavy things all the time. So your body just gets stronger. And there's only one way to get stronger. Your body's got to increase testosterone. It's got to rebuild all that tissue that you're breaking down. It's
What
been
place are you
proven.
in right now, brother? You're in first place in this contest.
If I wasn't in first place, I'd jump off a fucking building.
How's Ari?
To me,
Number 2?
I'm disturbed that they thought they were going to win. I'm ahead by like 2,000 points. This is what I'll tell you right now.
What are the
Disturbed.
rankings at right now?
I mean, obviously, out of all these guys, I'm the one who's been working out all the time. I've been working out my whole life. So I have 10,139. Ari's in second place with 8,299. Yeah. Tommy Buns in third place. Tommy has just recently banged out another 100. So he's 8,259. And Bert is strong in last place. Strong, talking all kinds of mad shit. And he's more than 2,000 points behind me, that slob. And I haven't even worked out today. And when I work out today, they're all gonna quit. I'm going today, even though I'm 2,000 points ahead. I'm gonna go for 6 hours. Today is a day of death.
What do you
I've
do
gotten
for
as many as 1,000 points in a day. No one has even gotten close to that. You just gotta fucking keep going. The thing is, when you're exhausted, you go, I can't go. I can't do this anymore. Yes, you can.
Joe Rogan, what do you do
it
for 6
another 20
hours?
minutes. I do a variety of different things.
Break
First,
it
I
down
take
for
the
Uncle
dog,
Joey.
I run the hills with the dog for a good hour. I do about 2 miles in the hills with the dog. So he's exhausted. Otherwise, he's a puppy. He's 2 years old. He's a pain in the ass if he's not worn out. So I wear his little ass out. So we run for 2 miles, which is in the hills. These are pretty fucking steep hills. It turns out to be about 40 minutes-ish, 45 minutes, close to an hour. Get back, stretch out a little, and then I decide what else I want to do. Yesterday, it was kickboxing. So I hit the bag for another hour and a half. I turned on some old fights in the gym and just fucking went to town. Put on the ringside timer, so it's giving me rounds. And the ringside timer gives me 30 seconds too. So I go 30 seconds hard, 30 seconds not so hard, 30 seconds hard, 30 seconds not so hard, 1 minute break.
Shin
drink
guards?
some water. No.
No shin
No
guards?
shin guards. No.
To really kick the shit out of that fucking bag hard. Oh my God.
I'm fucking my shins up.
Dog, the other day I went to kickboxing class and I fucked up one of my fungi toes. Just blew up. It just blew up and blood started coming out of it. I went home later on and said, "What the fuck? I did nothing. My toenails are cut."
If you slam your shin into a bag for an hour and a half of full blast, some tissue's gonna break down. Something's gonna break. Like right now, everything's sore. My ankles are sore. My knees are sore. My lower back is sore. I went whole ham yesterday, but that wasn't a big day for me. Yesterday was like 430 something points. That's a big day for some guy. It's the most I've ever worked out is I did 6.5 hours and I got 1,000 points. I did 5.5 hours. I got 900 points. And then I did another hour just to sort of like at the end of the day, just to loosen everything up. I just hit the bag for an hour. Because Bert was talking so much shit. I was like, this is like, oh, where am I going to put the belt? Everything Joe does, I'm going to double. Like, okay. We'll see. He went hiking with Ari and was quitting while he was hiking. Hiking is walking. It's walking. These guys are walking and they're getting tired. And he's talking about beating me in a fitness contest. It's outrageous. Plus, he's enormously overweight. The one who's the real issue is Ari. Ari's a sneaky fuck. Ari might try to pull it out. Even though he's 2,000 points behind, he might try to murder himself over the next 2 days, get to 2,000 points, and then put another 1,000 in to beat me on the third day. He literally might try to do that. But I'm not going to let him.
We're here, we're queer.
They're fighting for second place. Good luck, boys. I let them get close up until a while ago. Up until about a week and a half ago, and then I just turned it on. I'm like, okay, here we go. I had a plan. My plan was to get, first of all, I was not doing this much cardio before. So we're 29 days in. Is today the 30th? What is today? 29th?
29.
29 days in. I've taken 4 days off. I took 3 days off because I went to Vegas with my family when I went with the UFC. I said, we're going to go on Thursday. We're going to stay till Sunday. I'm not going to work out. Just go have a good time, relax, see if these guys catch up. So they caught up to me, and that's when Bert posted, oh, Rogan's in last place. I really hadn't even worked out. And so I said, okay, I'm done with that. Now it's time to kick it into full gear. And then when I kicked it into full gear, I'm steady every day, 3 hours a day, 3.5 hours a day, 4 hours a day sometimes. Sometimes 2.5 hours in the morning, 2.5 hours at night. Just 600 points a day, 700 points a day, 800 points a day, whatever I got to do just to stay way ahead. And then my goal was, so the last few days, to be so far ahead that they're fucked and they're all just scratching and clawing for second place.
What's the stuff this year?
You don't get anything. I wanted the loser to have to drink a goblet of everybody else's piss. That's what I wanted. Because I wanted Bert to drink piss. I feel like Bert has to lose this. I don't see how Tom was sick. He was sick as a dog, on antibiotics for like 5 days. Came back in 1 day and he ran 13 motherfucking miles for 600 points. Jesus. Yeah. Ran around the neighborhood, 13 fucking miles. The dude ran for 3.5 hours, just ran. Doesn't want to lose, and doesn't want to lose to Bert. Even if he only comes in third place. As long as he's not Bert. As long as he beats Bert. That's where everybody's at. Because Bert talked so much shit. Everybody just wants to make sure that Bert loses.
He's got the DiMaggio gene.
Oh, I got the Mickey Mantle
Mickey
gene.
Mantle gene.
He thinks he could just half-ass his way through something that's an actual competition. Because he's just, look, he can push himself, but there's a big difference between pushing yourself and pushing yourself for a whole month. That's where he's falling apart. And he's been talking so much shit that we're all laughing at him. So yesterday, everybody was going out. Is it today?
This was a couple hours yesterday.
I'm out here jogging.
So they're
Look at
sandbagging.
look at his tits bouncing. What did he say? He's sandbagging?
He said Ari and Tom are sandbagging.
I have my headsets in. Sorry if I sound super aggressive. I still love them, but man, sandbaggers, bro. Sandbaggers.
What does that mean?
What's a
He said
sandbagger?
Ari held on to his stats for like a week before
He did.
before he turned them in.
He
He
did.
said Tom was lying about being sick.
No. Ari held on to his stats, and he's allowed to do that. Look, we're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to, look, the manly thing to do is to put it all on the table and make everybody try to fucking keep up. That's the manly thing to do.
Now, is
But
everybody-
Ari is obviously a sneaky fuck, right? And he obviously is also the one who worked out the least out of all of us. So he, at one point in time, stored up 1,000 points and had them on his device and then released them. And Bert went fucking crazy. You fuck! Oh! Because Bert thought he was ahead of Ari, and then all of a sudden Ari shot ahead of him. That's how it works. This is a competition.
It's a fight for last right now, right? Between them.
Yes.
Between them.
It's a fight for last, and Bert's he's gonna lose that fight. He's gonna be last. Tom's gonna work out today. I told you, Tom got 600 fucking points yesterday. Oh, they're fighting. They're fighting in a group text. Oh, let me see what's going on here. Oh my God, it's long. It's very long. Oh boy, there's a lot. There's a lot of fighting. Bert's very angry. Very, very, very angry. He's very angry because he realizes he's going to come in last. Because he was saying yesterday. Here's what's hilarious. He goes, and you're barely winning. I go, Bert, I'm ahead of you. Yesterday was 2,300 points. I go, do you have any idea what the fuck you would be saying if you were ahead by 2,300 points? And he goes, I'd be respectful, and I'd be, like, you fucking liar,
Make
man.
a T-shirt about it, probably.
You fucking liar. Look, this, this is a rigged game. It's if I don't get hurt, it's a rigged game. That's just what it is.
Now, anybody drink? Anybody smoke?
No.
Anybody got caught drinking or smoking? Nothing?
Don't you think that Bert's drinking? Didn't you say you looked at you funny?
All right. Let me tell you the fucking story, and you tell me what you think, okay? Because this was the fucked up thing. My feelings were even hurt. Every Wednesday I go to pizza after karate with Mercy. We go eat pizza, and we're sitting there. It's the neighborhood pizza joint. We're sitting there, and I look at my wife and I go, "Isn't that Bert?" And it's a dude walking through the neighborhood, look just like Bert with a hat on. I put my pizza down and go out and I go, "Hey, cocksucker, I see that you're drinking," because it looked like he had a six-pack or whatever holding it. And he turned around, waved at me, and kept walking. This is Bert Kreischer, right? This is Bert Kreischer. This is a guy that, I figured he'd come back and talk to me. So the next day, Lee tells me, I tell Lee that. And I go, yeah, I saw Bert today and yelled at him. He didn't come and talk to me. Lee tells me that Bert put down a tweet that one of his fans yelled at him.
Yeah, I was going to say, he saw someone. He didn't know who it was.
And he didn't know who it was. And he kept walking. He knew who the fuck it. Dog, if I yell at you, you'll know it's fucking me. If I say cocksucker at the end of the speech, you know it's me.
Look what else Bert does. First of all, Bert knows he's behind a staggering amount. He put in the most bitch-ass workout today. He got, what is this, 149 points? That is not enough. He worked out for an hour and 50 minutes. He got 149 points. Because look at the end. See the end, all those grays?
Maybe it stayed on or something.
No. He kept his strap on. He worked out. It says an hour and 49 minutes. He worked out for 40 minutes, and he kept his strap on for an hour.
Trying to get some extra.
Yeah, because he's dying, so his heart's elevated. So he gets some points for having an elevated heart. But look at this, all this gray shit at the end. See, folks? See all this?
I can barely see it.
You can't.
Turn
You
the
can't
brightness
hardly
I can see it.
Here, let me do something here. I'll show people here. All this nonsense. Well, it's not gonna work. you get, for 80% of your heart rate, you get yellow. For 90% of your max heart rate, you get red. I tried to go all red the first day. I'm like, I'm just going to kill them. I'm just going to sprint for half an hour and just make these guys catch up. There's no way they catch up. Then Ari, in his fucking ingenious and devious ways, found out that you get just as many points for 80% as you get for 90%. We figured so that they avoid lawsuits. So we said, okay. So it seems like the sweet spot is in 80%. So just stick to 80%. So you can do that, or you can be like Bert, and Bert barely gets to 70%, mostly stays in the 60% range, which is gray, and then 80%, which is, 60% is like there's 50, 60, and 70, and 70's green. No, yeah, 70's green, and then blue is 60. So he's mostly blue, 60% of his max heart rate, which, by the way, I might be at right now because I'm getting angry. So if you got mad, you'd be in like the blue, and you get 2 points a minute for the blue. You get 4 points a minute for the yellow. There it goes. See, 60% to 70%, you get blue. Bert is almost all gray and blue. And if you look at this fucking slobbery workout he's got, look at all that shit. It's 60% and lower most of his workout. So that means most of the workout that he did for an hour and 49 minutes is him with a fucking thing on, just sitting around. It's an hour and 30 minutes. So it's most of it is him with the thing on, just sitting there, being fat. That's all it is.
Now let me ask you this: What is this called? Because I like to go on this.
It's called this. It's a MyZone fitness tracker. This is the thing.
And you put it on your chest.
Yes, you put. It's a. Once I snap this in, it'll start measuring my heart rate, and I'm gonna put it on when I get out of here. I'm gonna start working out. And today, these are the 3 days of death. Today's Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and Wednesday we go crazy, Joey Diaz. Wednesday I work out to 11:59, and then at 11:59 I pop that off, and I walk away. At 11:59, and then I go have a glass of wine, because it hits midnight.
No weight qualifications on this. Nothing. Nobody had to lose weight.
No, there's no losing weight. I probably fucking gained weight. I haven't lost any weight. I've eaten everything that moves. I've put in 0 dietary restrictions. I ate a whole carrot cake the other day. But the amount of calories that I'm burning is fucking insane. Like, I'll give you for instance, on a day, like a good calorie day, in terms of like how much. Like yesterday, one workout, 2,214 calories. One workout, 3 hours, 25 minutes. And then the day before that, 1,930 calories. The day before that, there was 2 workouts. One was 1,876 calories. One was 2,210 calories. These are, I mean, this is insane amount of calories. One workout I had was 4,900 calories.
And what's that entail? Like when you get your heart up to 80, is that the running?
Yeah.
Or the lifting?
I can't just do one thing. I go crazy.
Right. Okay.
I'll get bored.
All right.
So I lift, but the lift doesn't give me much. Lift is like blue and green. That's all you ever get from lifting. Is
and
blue
that
and
swings
green.
or
Chin-ups, presses, cleans and presses, windmills, clean press squats, renegade rows.
all kettlebell.
All kettlebells.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously,
So the
other
lifting
than
doesn't
chin-ups,
give you much.
Doesn't give you much.
How would jiu-jitsu fare?
Jiu-jitsu would probably be pretty good, but this thing would get in the way.
Right,
And if anybody mounted you, it would crack. This thing would crack. If you lost this, oh my God, it'd be death. Like I could break this with my finger. I'm pretty sure I could break this. It feels like
Muay
it's
Thai
giving.
burns a lot.
Yes.
That's the number one.
I did an
That
hour and a
bag
half
is
of
a
hitting that
motherfucker.
bag yesterday. Because I have the gym at home, so
Right.
I went fucking hog on the. I put fights on. Once I put fights on, I get fired up. You just start fucking wailing on that bag and keeping the party going. But see, if I got cocky right now, these fucks could catch me, especially Ari, because he's probably gonna sandbag some more and hide his numbers. Because he just wants to beat Bert. Because he got super pissed at Tom. He's like, what the fuck, Tom? Because Tom put up all those points yesterday. 600 points in a day is a lot of points. But like I said, the dude ran. Like, I'll tell you what he did. He ran 13 fucking miles in his neighborhood. And this is after being sick. But he's feeling it today. Yeah, today he gets 145 points. That's not good. You're not going to win with that. See, they're not trying to win. They're trying to beat Bert.
I know that Bert went to
Everybody's just trying to beat
cryotherapy.
Bert.
I know that one day he was at U.S. cryotherapy because I went over there. They're like, Bert just left here. So I knew he was doing something, but I know he hasn't been going consistently. So.
Bert doesn't do anything consistently, but he doesn't watch his diet either. That's the problem with Bert. He's not watching his diet. He's not eating well.
Bert's not an eater. It's the booze, dog.
Yeah,
that
it is.
sugar's a motherfucker.
It is.
That shit turns into sugar at night. Beers will kill you. You know what else kills you? Acai bowls.
Yeah.
People think that they're fucking healthy. There's a ton of shit that fucking
Lot of
kills you.
sugar in acai
Yeah,
bowls.
just stick to an apple and a banana. I try. You know, I love acai bowls, though. They make them at my house with chia seeds and juju,
But I'll tell you
goji
what,
berries.
when I'm in the middle of like these brutal workouts, I'll drink a whole soda. In the middle of
Really?
a workout. I drank a cream soda yesterday. In the middle of a workout, I needed sugar. I needed it
How do you know you need it?
because I felt like I needed it. I was fucking. I'm burning up so many calories, and my blood sugar is crashing so hard. I'm eating fruit. I mean, the one day that I worked out where I did 5.5 hours, I was eating boxes of animal crackers. I was eating everything I could.
What I do is what you told me to do. When I get home from Thai or lifting, and I make a protein shake, I swear to God, I take the Hershey's syrup. You told me just to put a little bit, and I just go tick. Not
Yeah.
even. I
Little
mean,
sugar's not bad after a
I mean,
workout.
a second of it.
Yeah.
And with the Mexican chocolate, works perfect. It tastes like fucking, So I do that with the protein drinks, but I try to avoid sugar. Nothing no more.
Yeah,
No
you
more
definitely should
desserts.
avoid sugar. But see, what's happening with these workouts is you're dealing with an extreme loss of electrolytes, an extreme loss of glucose. I mean, I'm putting salt in all my water. I'm drinking a bunch of these Nalgene. You know what a Nalgene bottle is? Like with a twist top. It's a thick, heavy plastic, 32-ounce bottle of water. I'm drinking 3 and 4 of those in a workout. In those, I'm putting electrolytes, and then I'm putting sprinkles of Himalayan salt. So I'm putting like a half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt in each one of them, shaking it up, because I am losing insane amounts of water. I sweat so hard, I set off the fucking alarm. I set off my fire alarm in my gym from sweat, from my steam. The whole room was like a shower from me steaming, and I put it up on Instagram. This is the kind of workout I'm doing. I'm pushing hard because they're not making it easy. These guys are actually doing it. There's so much steam in this room from my workout that I set off the fucking fire alarm. That's legit. Those puddles on the ground, that's not from me pissing my pants. That's all sweat. So I'm sweating so much.
Yeah, you need
because
to put the salt in.
I'm staying in the 80% of your max heart rate range for hours. I'm staying there for hours. So my thought was, there's no way they can do that. They're not going to do that. There's no way. They're not going to do that for 5 hours. They're just not. So like, if I did one day like that, I felt like one day where I got 935 points in one workout, and then another 100 points afterwards. I'm like, one day like that will separate me from the pack. Just one day. Just put fear.
I gotta ask you something.
Fear in their heart.
Let me just ask you something, just to be fair to everybody here. What about some of the stuff you do? Doesn't that kind of?
You mean like testosterone?
Yeah.
100% helps. I told them
then
too.
you can't- you
This
can't-
is
you
I told them this is a fucking.
You should have made them shoot shit. All those
They should
motherfuckers.
have. I gave them my doctor's information. I told them what they should do. Look, I'm also at least 8 years older than all of them.
All of them, right?
How old's Ari?
41.
41. I'm 51. Yeah, I'm older than all of them.
Yeah, but the testosterone.
It
yeah,
helps.
I gotta get you side on this.
Oh yeah,
motherfucker.
you should. I'm failing all those tests. Yeah, testosterone replacement therapy, hormone replacement therapy. I started doing all that when I was 40, so that's their age. Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Makes a big difference.
Fuck yeah. Look, listen, everybody listen to this. There's a stigma attached to that in a lot of people. Like, where do you get your testosterone from? I get it from my balls. All that matters is that you have it in your system. If you don't have it in your system, you're not going to feel as good. It's real simple. If you're fine with not feeling as good, good. Go ahead. Stick with that. But if you're not fine with it, this is 2018. Hormone replacement therapy exists for a reason. And that reason is it makes you feel way better. It makes your body work way better. You can avoid a host of ailments and conditions that are related to your body breaking down due to age with hormone replacement therapy. The key to doing it, though, is to do it correctly. You're supposed to go to a doctor that's going to test your blood levels, test your nutrient levels, and adjust your diet first. The first thing that happens is they want to find out how much you're sleeping, how stressed out you are, what are you eating, how much water are you drinking, are you getting the proper amount of protein and vegetables, are you eating correctly. Let's get you off of the sugar. Let's get you off the booze. Let's get you off cigarettes or whatever else is before they do anything. So they put you this is a many month process that I went through where they get you off of all these different things and you make these adjustments. And then they start adding a little stuff. Add a little bit of growth hormone. Add a little bit of testosterone. First it was cream, and then it became injections. It takes a little bit of time to figure out what works best. And then you get to a point where you have the hormone levels of a healthy young man. You don't want to elevate. You don't want to be higher than that. That's when you run into problems. You don't want to be in like some crazy Vitor Belfort when he got popped from Nevada and he was like some superhuman
What was the guy
levels.
from Denver that was 80% over? Remember on a Sunday night he was supposed to fight Rumble Johnson. What's the guy from Denver? The Christian, nice guy.
Nate Marquardt.
Nate Marquardt levels
Yeah.
were really high in Pittsburgh that night. Remember
That's right. Yeah.
It was
They say
Pittsburgh.
he was in danger. He was like there is dangerous to his health, the levels. But he says that was his doctor. His doctor fucked him. The whole idea. Well, there's a difference between. First of all, there's a big difference between someone who's competing in mixed martial arts. Obviously, you have to worry about your opponent getting hurt because of the fact that you're enhanced. And these are young guys that are doing this. When Nate was doing this, he was like 30 years old, right? When you're talking about just general health and wellness, testosterone replacement therapy, hormone replacement therapy, there's a reason why a lot of older guys, especially guys who can afford it, they have money, they're doing it. It makes you feel better. It just does. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. There's ways of elevating your testosterone natural. They just don't work as well. Whether it's deadlifts or running hills, doing sprints, they work a little bit better. It works a little bit better than nothing. But it does.
Squats are very good.
Yeah.
They release,
good.
but not enough for what you're saying.
No, there's going to be a difference.
I
There's
know
gonna be a
they can
difference.
raise them through acupuncture. I know that I've discussed raising levels of testosterone through acupuncture.
I would like to see studies on that.
The problem is it's really painful. It's in
Acupuncture
your
is painful?
For that
Really?
process, it's in your feet.
Yeah, I'd like to see studies on that. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's really been proven. If that was really proven, look, there's ways to raise it.
The chick I was with for years told me different case studies that she had been involved in.
Yeah,
And she told me a guy came in once that found the younger girlfriend. His wife passed, and he found the younger girlfriend.
and he couldn't keep up.
And he couldn't keep up, so he came in to see her, and she did a bunch of stuff and put him on a tee. And he came back a week later and said, "Turn that shit off, because my dick will not shut down." But she told me, she goes, "I could raise your testosterone levels, but it has to be needling through your feet,
Yeah,
and you're gonna find that a little bit uncomfortable." And I was like, "Leave it alone, then. I don't want to fucking walk around."
all this stuff that we're talking about, whether it's hormone replacement therapy or squats or deadlifts or all these things will help. Hormone replacement therapy helps the most.
The most.
The thing about this kind of a competition that we're doing, though, we're not doing anything that you need massive amounts of testosterone.
No, this is something
What this is
against
about is willpower.
willpower for a month, 30 days. That's all this was about.
But a lot of it is discipline and willpower. And if I have any advantage, it's that I have a gym in my house and I have a gym in my studio. And I run with my dog almost every day in the hills. And I've been doing that for years. I've been taking that dog running since he was 6 months old. He runs in the hills with me all the time.
You fall in love with running.
I love it. You know why I love it, Joey? Here's a big thing. Because it makes me feel better in terms of like my mental state. Like I'm happier when I run all the time. This whole month, I feel great. And I don't just feel great because like I'm not smoking pot. Like maybe that's help. Maybe that's good in some way. Maybe it's good to not smoke as much pot, even though I enjoy it. Maybe it's not good to smoke as much as I do.
You're gonna
I don't know.
smoke Thursday morning?
I don't know. No, Thursday I'm flying to New York. I probably won't smoke. I mean, I might smoke a little over the weekend. I'm going to play some pool with my boy Tommy Jr. down in New York. But the thing that really helps, because I'm doing insane amounts of exercise, hours and hours of exercise a day. You don't give a fuck about normal bullshit. Like all the chatter, all the negative chatter in your head, that shit goes away. It doesn't exist. I don't care. I'm super calm. No anxiety. Anxiety goes away. I think I'm not a depressed person. I don't suffer from depression. But I had Tyson Fury on the podcast.
Yeah, last week. I haven't listened yet.
Amazing. He's a brave man. The way he opened up about his...
I read the comments and whatnot.
Yeah, but
I
the way
think
he
it
opened up
helps.
about his suicidal thoughts and depression.
I think all that stuff
It helps. It doesn't just help. It helps fucking tremendous. If I found a drug, if a doctor put me on medication, I was like, Doc, I'm fine. I'm happy. Everything's good. The doc's like, I would just like you to just try this for a while and tell me how it makes you feel. If you just put me on something, and I had to take a pill a day, and I felt as good as I feel right now sitting in front of you, I would be like, wow, you were right. I feel better. Well, this exists, but it only gets to you through discipline. And you can't give someone something that forces them to work out. Almost every fucking day I worked out this month, I didn't want to do it. Almost every day. The only thing that kept me doing it is Bert going, I'm going to double what Joe does. All that got me angry. That got my competitive juices stirred. And just the idea that these guys, I've been working out my whole life. These guys barely work out. Like they're going to beat me in some sort of a fitness competition that involves willpower. I'm like, that's not going to happen. I'm going to put in more time than you. I'm just going to. But all that aside, when I did do it, just doing it, I feel fucking fantastic.
Well, remember the tapes you made of me in House of Blues where you were concerned? I was like, I don't want to live no more and all that. I wasn't working out.
Yeah.
Now I do something 4 days a week minimum. Since I've been on Weight Watchers, I didn't hit the plateau 1 week because I was on antibiotics. I got a rash on my leg, and so when I lifted, I felt a little weird, but I still did everything else.
It's hard to exercise on antibiotics.
I felt it lifting.
Yeah, you
when I
feel
was
so
doing the
weak.
squats, I had to stop. I had to
weak.
stop. So I in fact, I went off the ant. I was like, I can't live
There's
like
very
this.
few things that will kill your system like antibiotics.
No, I couldn't do it.
And that's a real wake-up call for people that don't understand the benefits of probiotics. Those probiotics, like taking acidophilus or eating kimchi or eating anything that's going to help your microbiome, it's so beneficial to your well-being, to the way you feel, the way your health is, your vitality. All that stuff is connected.
I like yogurt.
Yogurt's fucking great for you.
I love yogurt.
Greek
I
yogurt?
eat yogurt a lot. I don't like the Greek as much as the other one. I get the low point one.
I'm
I
a
love-
kimchi guy. I eat
don't
that
like
shit
kimchi.
almost every day.
I love that shit juice, but you got to watch the sugar in that. Kombucha.
What juice is that? Oh, kombucha?
You
Yeah,
gotta
you do
watch
have to
the
watch
juice.
the sugar.
You gotta watch the sugar in that. I got a 2-point kombucha for 8 ounces. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
That's not bad at all. So you
It's
gotta
very
watch.
beneficial, though. Very beneficial. Kombucha is fucking amazing. It's really good at avoiding sicknesses. But with this exercise, the amount of exercise that I'm doing, I'll drink bottles of that shit. I don't worry about nothing. There's a lot of benefit in that to me, just to be able to eat whatever the fuck I want. I mean, I've been eating everything in front of me, man, this whole month. I mean, I've doubled how much food I eat. Just eating like it's crazy how much I'm eating.
I gotta watch everything, Joe.
I get it. I get it.
I don't touch
This is
meat
not
after
what I'm
6.
doing is not
I
sustainable.
do salmon at night.
Salmon's good.
I do a lot of chicken breast. My meat intake is cut just to a third. I don't agree with you on the meat intake anymore, especially at night. I don't fuck with that shit at night no more. If I eat meat, it's maybe 3 times a week. Don't get me wrong. I still crave a fucking steak, but if I take my wife out on a date for the steak, the first thing I do is cut it in half. And I save it for the next day for breakfast or something.
Nothing wrong with that.
I try to eat meat early in my day.
Let it digest by the time the end of the day
Yeah, I
rolls
don't
around.
like it at night no more. No mas. No mas. It's funny the day we were talking when your mother was visiting, and you and I were talking about Italians that they can't eat pasta after they're 50, that they lose their
Yeah.
mind. You know, as you get older, you lose things. You just can't eat them. And I think Sebastian told me that gravy bothers him. And my buddy in Jersey was hysterical. He's like, I can't even walk past a pizza place no more.
Well, it's also
What happened to
the
your
amount
feet? The feet, gout. They get gout. Italian
you
people.
can get that.
You get gout from sauce, from the acidity in the sauce.
People get it from wine, you know. It used to be called like emperor's disease. Because people would just sit around and drink wine when they were rich. Like it's like it was a rich person's disease way back in the day.
Is wine bad? No, wine's good
No,
for you.
wine's not bad.
Wine's good for you.
Everything's bad in excess.
In excess.
You know, I mean, sugar's terrible in excess. You have, you know, like The Rock. He eats like a plate of cookies one day a week. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a day where you fuck off, have a cheat meal. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as the majority of your diet is healthy. The majority of your diet should consist of leafy green vegetables, healthy fats, healthy meat, you know, grass-fed
I
beef
still don't
is
eat
my
egg whites.
favorite.
Fuck you pussies.
Egg whites. You
I
need
still-
yolks. They're good.
I eat yolks
Yolks
like
are
a
great.
motherfucker.
One of our sponsors, what was the egg sponsor? They, I forget the sponsor, but they give you, they sell actual cage-free eggs. People say cage-free, but they're all fucking jammed in together. They might as well be in a cage. What is
Vital
it?
Farms.
Spell it.
Vital Farms.
VITAL, right? Vital Farms, and the eggs that they have are fucking dark orange yolk, that robust yolk. They taste better.
They taste better.
That's because those
You still
chickens.
got the chi-
See that shit? That's what a fucking egg's
Eggs should
supposed to
look
look
like. You
like.
still got the chickens?
Yep.
Are they still giving you great eggs also?
Man, they haven't been giving me eggs lately. I've been getting like a couple eggs a day at the moment.
This is a company that sponsors you?
yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna
my
go then.
my chickens are getting old, man. That's
So
the problem. They
they'll
don't-
send you eggs to your house?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You,
I
How-
think
what
I've
do they
seen it in
have?
the store. I recognize that
yeah.
packaging.
I think they're just selling them in
Okay.
the store.
Yeah.
But you know, they have services that'll deliver stuff from stores to your house now.
How crazy is that? Cubans eat eggs, fried eggs on white rice.
It's good.
Jesus Christ.
Eggs are
And
fantastic.
then they break the yolk on the fried rice
I love
together
it.
on white rice.
I love it.
And then the other Cuban thing is white rice with a steak on top,
I love it.
with 2 eggs on top of
Bring
that,
it.
and you're supposed to bring
Yes.
it. You know what they call it? Eggs on horseback. Huevo a caballo.
Oh.
Huevo
like
a
it.
caballo. Eggs on horseback. That's
I like it.
disgusting, Joe Rogan.
What are you talking about? It sounds amazing.
Oh my God! When that yolk
Why?
breaks over the
Oh,
steak, I
sounds
can't
so
have
good.
that. No.
What are you saying?
And especially over white rice.
I'm hungry
oh,
right
Jesus
now.
Christ!
I eat steak and eggs all the time.
I love steak and eggs, but again, I gotta watch the fucking once a week,
Yeah.
once every 10 days. I
Well-
can't eat I can't eat fucking pancakes.
No.
The hearty pancakes, I can have one from Denny's.
Pancakes is just a bunch of bread. It's just bread.
But they have the hearty oats ones with a little bit of 0 calorie maple syrup.
Well, you know what you can get? There's a company called No Foods, KNOW Foods, and they make waffles that are like, I don't know what they use, almond flour or something like that. They taste good, low carb, very low sugar. They fucking taste fantastic, and they have a 0 sugar syrup that tastes fucking great. I'll put melted butter on those motherfuckers and that 0 sugar syrup and eat the shit out of those waffles.
That fucking sugar,
They taste
that
good.
fucking 0 sugar syrup is fucking
Good.
tremendous.
It's good, and you eat it, you don't feel bad. It tastes good.
It tastes really fucking
And
good.
when it's over, you don't feel like a fucking, like you got hit with an insulin dart. You don't feel like that feeling that you get when you eat like real waffles with real sugar.
See, I never got that. I never got to enjoy that shit as a kid.
At the end, you're like, oh. An hour later, you barely can walk. Not with these. You eat these fucking things, you feel fantastic. Joey Diaz, your Netflix special. It's out tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow.
Jesus Christ. I put up a thing that our boy Michael Klein made from One by One podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of degenerate things, but there's a lot of things
This
I
is-
won't do. Like,
You can't play a man's stand up
Yeah.
in front of him. Drive
what's the
him
matter
fucking
with you?
crazy.
I
What's
have
wrong
no
with you,
fucking
Jamie?
problems looking at myself.
But I like the clip. The clip looks good.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's funny. I'm very thankful to Netflix for giving me the half hour. You know, I just feel at times like I didn't do really well on the show. Like I felt like
You're hard on yourself. You're an artist.
No, but you know, I felt like, and not to try to be cute. It's funny, like when you see Rhonda get kicked, and she was sitting there for the first 3 minutes. She was upset about the kick, but you're also upset about the training. You see all the holes in your training where you made mistakes, little mistakes you made. Even 2 weeks ago when Connor went down for a couple minutes, he was just sitting there. He's not thinking about the $30 million he made. There's nobody. You're thinking about the mistakes that got you there, you know? And it was weird that I didn't think I did that well on the Netflix special. Like, personally, I wanted to do better, you know? But ever since that, you can't. Ever since Utah, June 30th, I have been on a different level as a stand-up comic. I went back to the Mitzi Shore technique. I don't give a fuck. I'm 55. If you don't like me, I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's
If I offend you, I really don't give a fuck. This is who I am, and that's it. I've been having some tremendous sets in the original room.
that's the benefit of doing these
because
things.
I don't give a fuck no
The
more.
benefit of doing these specials is you grow. You abandon all the material, and then you're forced to regroup, and you're forced to look at the material and look at your set, see what you don't like. Some people never do that, Joey, and they never grow because of that.
It's just, but the growth I've had since June 4th, I feel like Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway together. Like, I see it. Like, in the original room now, I'm back to rare form. Like, I had to watch, I just got in my head. I had to watch a couple. I had some Red Fox specials. I watched a couple Lenny Bruce specials. I went back to my favorite. I got all the vinyl from Richard Pryor, and I went back and listened to it. And I came with the conclusion that, what was I giving a fuck about? I can't give a fuck about audiences. This is who the fuck I am. I'm going to unleash the wrath of fucking God on you. And when we come out of here, we'll see what the fuck it is. You know, the worst thing I did was a week before Jim Norton says something that kind of bothered me once. And then I understood after he said it. He said he didn't watch people's specials. Me, I like watching comedy specials. I love watching them. But a week before my special, I did the worst thing in the world. I watched John Mulaney's special, who's a great writer. I'm not a great writer. Everything was me as my energy, so I wanted to be John Mulaney. And that's what I felt. Looking back now I got it all out of the way, and I know exactly who the fuck I am. And you're in trouble. I'm taking into murky waters now. Every show. And I'm going to say something to offend you, because that's who I am. I got to talk this dirty shit. You know, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks anymore. But every once in a while, my wife calls it, Joey, you're having a white moment. You're not white, you're Cuban. Knock the fuck off. Like, I get headshots. My wife's like, here he goes again. Getting a white moment.
I don't even have, do you have headshots?
No.
I don't have headshots. I haven't had headshots in decades.
No, you don't need them no more. What do we give a fuck about headshots?
Yeah,
you know who the fuck we are. Just I'm not
Use
gonna
a picture of me offline.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Well, you look so you're older now. I don't give a fuck. Just use it. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, brother.
And it's always a pleasure. Will I see you this week?
Yeah, I'll be around this week.
You
Well,
coming?
actually, no, because I've got some shit to do before I leave for New York. I'm not going to be around, but I'll be around after that.
Okay.
November 1st. We're
I
back
love
on a
you.
tear. I love you too, man.
Thank you very much for
My
having
pleasure,
me.
brother.
All right,
Always great
brother.
to see you.
Always.
So tonight it airs at midnight.
Does it?
Midnight, LA time. Yours is the 30th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tonight you can check it out live on Netflix. Shout out to Netflix. Thanks for
Thank
everything.
you very much, Netflix.
Love you.
Thank you, Joe Rogan. Love you.
Perfect.